Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content. Thank you.
Hello. Today, I'm going to be listening to two ladies who are Republican ladies, speaking in terms of what we may be experiencing with Donald Trump. This young lady on the screen, Heather Cox Richardson. She's a historian, a Republican historian who explains what happens in America by showing us patterns from the past. She has studied Republican politics for over 20, 30 years. She is very good at breaking things down in plain English. And then we will have CHERI JACOBUS, who is a Republican strategist, who is very good at doing the same thing. She has been a Republican strategist for a very long time. I want to say over 20 years. Media consultant, political commentator, best known to be very smart, very, very sharp on the Republican Party and the MAGA movement. So these two ladies were Republicans forever and a day. I don't know whether they're still Republicans or not, but I think they're still they have a very unique take on the Republican Party. So I like these two ladies' commentary because they are very good at what they put together and let people hear. So let's start with Miss Heather Cox Richardson.
All right, I'm going to jump right into things tonight because so much is going on, and I want to start.
Wait a minute, let me make this plain. This is not about gossip. People keep saying. I mean, I see you in the chat, Osmos, talking about crashing out. I don't crash out. Those things don't happen. Never in all my years have I crashed out. Never. So this is not a gossip video. This is not about did you hear who said when, where, and why. This is not about scoring points or political or the political team. This is about something more basic and honest and more uncomfortable that maybe you don't want to hear. Is how power starts to act when it's being challenged. Okay, and how regular people react to what's happening. So we're going to take her take on it. This authoritarian stuff doesn't show up, and people keep saying Trump is fostering in authoritarianism. We keep saying that, and fascism. Okay, this stuff doesn't show up just out of the blue. That's what you all don't understand. These two ladies are historians. They're going to explain it. Not they're going to explain authoritarianism. They're just going to explain the actions of what they're saying from this Republican president, because they are Republicans. And they've been there. They've probably been Republicans longer than any of you all have. Okay, so they understand the patterns and what's going on. Okay, I mean, this ain't no big announcement when you're in the middle of an authoritarian rule. It shows up in pieces and policy and things that once you've been one rule, you've been another rule. I mean, things that we see happening right now. 2 or 3 years ago, we would have been like, what the hell is going on? And that matters because we are tired of what's going on. So they're going to explain. These new ladies are going to explain it. You guys are the new Republicans. These are the old Republicans, the Republicans that are horrified in what they're saying. This person in this video is a professor. She's going to talk plain English to you. This is what's happening. Okay, so watch. Don't try to figure it out. Just so absorb what she's saying. Okay, so let's go. She's going to talk about Trump and his behavior.
In a place sort of sideways of where people have asked me to start, and that is a question about the Epstein files. And what people are asking about, first of all, and a lot of, is the testimony from Sasha Riley, and why are people not talking more about that? And the answer to that is that sort of a big life lesson here. The radical right is salting a lot of crap around the Epstein files. It's doing that really quite deliberately, because then if some of the material turns out to be fake, they will be able to discredit all of it. So people are taking any new material like that really, really carefully. And I would urge you to remember that if it is proven true, whenever that gets chased down, or if it is not, the horrors that the Epstein situation has visited on its victims, the survivors, and also on the country, are not going to be less bad because they're coming out a little bit later. So that's, I've gotten emails all day with people talking about that and asking me to write about it, and I will not do so until it has been thoroughly vetted and looks really clean. And there's a lot of material in in and around the Epstein files that has not turned out to be accurate. So I wanted to start there with that question because so many of you asked it, but I don't want to stop with the Epstein files, because everything else I'm going to talk about is always in front of the backdrop of the fact that the administration is breaking the law even as we speak. That is, on November 19th, the US Congress overwhelmingly passed a law requiring, not saying we think it would be ducky if you felt like, requiring the Department of Justice to release all the Epstein files, not the ones they felt like, by no later than December 19th. And I know math is not my strong suit, but December 19th went flying by many weeks ago. Within that law, it's called the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and you can Google it. Unlike many of the laws that Congress passes, it's actually quite short and very understandable. It's only about a page long, small type, yeah, but it's very clear. In addition to requiring that those files be released, there were very specific guidelines for what could be redacted, and it was to protect the victims and nothing else. And we know that the Department of Justice has said, oh, but there's another law that says we have to make sure that nobody's reputations get hurt, and that's why we have blacked out so much of it. What they have released at this point is estimated to be less than 1% of the totality of those files. And they are now saying, well, there's just so much we can't get to it. In addition to the release that was required, the Department of Justice was also supposed to explain and justify every redaction. Well, of course, that went by the wayside as well, in part because they haven't released anything, or they've released less than 1%. So keep that in mind, because clearly there is something in those files that they know is going to be unbelievably damning. And the way you know that is not just the obvious, that they're not releasing them, despite the fact that Attorney General Pam Bondi said last July she had gone through them all. But also because think of what the administration has done to the 5, I believe it was, members of Congress, maybe 6, who released that video reminding U.S. military personnel that they had a duty not to obey illegal orders. They've gone ballistic over that. We now know that Jason Crow of Colorado is being investigated. We know that Alyssa Slotkin is being investigated, and they've tried to go after Mark Kelly of Arizona, Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona.
First thing understand is that this administration is messy. And they know that they should have released those files before now, but they know they can't release them because something is in those files. Okay. They know that something is in those files, and the president doesn't want them to be released. Okay. Most people think disinformation is lying, but lying is actually the lazy verb. What works better is mixing the real stuff with fake stuff. So this is probably what is going on right now. Don't nobody believe it. It's a lie. He may not be in them. He ain't in them. They wouldn't be hiding them if something wasn't in them. Okay. So now they got to be on the defensive. Let's not release nothing. Let them just take us to court. Okay. Let them take us to court. So this is what we're being warned about. Ain't nobody trying to release no files because they know that Donald Trump is in them. Okay. And a lot of people saying, I am so sick of these damn answers. Of course we're sick of them. But this president campaigned on releasing them. So it's up to him to figure it out. But it's too late now because you signed a document saying they should have been released. This person is in those files. I'm convinced of it, but what is in the files? That's the question.
Say to reduce his retirement rank, sort of going after him administratively because of that video. In that video, they simply reiterated the law. These are lawmakers reiterating the law. And they also have the protection of what's known as the speech and debate clause, which is outlined in the Constitution. And it is designed to make sure that Congress critters can criticize the government openly and can say things about the government without any kind of legal or professional repercussions or personal repercussions. Now, it's the speech and debate clause that the radical right has been using to seed crap all through the news all the time, because you can't go after something a congressperson says. So, they say crap in investigations, and then it makes the news, and nobody can say, hey, you shouldn't have done that, because they're covered by the speech and debate clause. So these same Congress people who said you can't, you have a duty not to obey an illegal order are now, that's what the administration is going after them for saying, despite both the First Amendment and the speech and debate clause. But why am I bringing it up in the context of the Epstein files? Why did the administration go so bonkers over that? Well, now we know that, in fact, on September 2nd, that first set of strikes had at least two things that legal analysts have called war crimes. And the entire operation itself looks as if it is also illegal and part of breaks all kinds of international rules. And those war crimes are, first of all, that they used a plane that appears to have been decorated, made to look like a civilian plane, which is against the rules of war. And also that double tap that killed the people who were in the flotsam is also a war crime. So why did they go so ballistic and try to shut those people up? Because it looks like they had already broken the law. And that's what I think you're seeing with these Epstein files. They know they're in deep trouble, so they're trying to muddy the waters. And they're muddying the waters not just by refusing to hand over these files and saying, oh, there's just so much, but also by trying to pull the Clintons into this. And so far, lots of people are saying, oh, yeah, the Clintons should testify. Let me break that down for you a little bit. There were, I believe it was 8 subpoenas related to the Epstein files that the House Oversight Committee put forward. And then they dismissed 6 of them. They have only interviewed 2 people in the last year. And now they are trying to hold the Clintons in contempt, even though Bill Clinton has been out front saying, please release everything that has my name or my photograph in it, because you're just trying to make this about me when it's really about Donald Trump. And of course, Hillary Clinton wants no part of this, because this has been a real way that the Republicans have repeatedly turned out their voters, is by accusing her of things. They'll lock her up, the email things, the Benghazi, all of that stuff. And I just think she's done. She's not going to play that game any longer. But this is not about the Clintons. If it is, if they're in it, more power to whomever takes them to court and arrests them and all that. But this is again an attempt to make those Epstein files go away. And the more, for me, the more they do that, the more it says to me those, I mean, what we've already seen is horrific. So it says to me that there is something really bad in the Epstein files. And please don't lose track of that.
See, that's, I can't, what can you imagine that's in those files? They're trying to throw all of the blame on Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton said, y'all can release whatever y'all want to release. I don't care. Hillary Clinton is probably not in them. Bill may be in them, but you can release whatever you want to release. I know I ain't did nothing untoward. I know I ain't did nothing. You don't make this about me. That's why the Clintons didn't show up for those subpoenas that they put together. Because it's not about them. Because it's not about what they did. They haven't done anything that would be newsworthy like that. Bill Clinton slept with a young 18-year-old. That's not anything. Bill Clinton cheated on Hillary. We all know that. It's not a scandal. It's something else that's in those files that Trump don't want to be released. Trump never does anything for anybody except himself. He only worries about how it affects him. It's never about affecting anybody else. So I know whatever's in those files is related to him more so than anybody else, because that's the kind of shitty human being he is. There are real life narcissistic people on this planet, and Donald Trump is one of those narcissistic people. Okay. And this is what we understand. There's something in those files that they just are not trying to release. It just is what it is. And they went past the release date. They're not trying to hear about you telling them that it's got to come out now. Why ain't the law being followed? The law is not being followed because if Trump knew he was going to get in trouble for releasing the files and somebody else was in them, shit, he'd be done release them damn files. He don't give a damn about them people. But he is the one that's in those files. He don't want those files released. That's why. It has nothing to do with nobody else. He's the one that's in the files somewhere, somehow.
All right. So now the other thing I want you to keep your mind around as we move forward through the material today is Trump is not okay. I got a number of emails today with people saying to me, what's he going to do next? You've said things are going to get bad. What's it going to be? Have you ever had a relative who's got dementia? And again, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose this man, but I can listen to him. And I know he is completely erratic, does not seem to know what's going on. I can't tell you what he's going to do. But it's worth remembering in all of this that this is a person who is acting entirely by impulse, whatever looks good at the moment. And then his handlers and the Republicans in Congress are trying to make sense of it on the other side. And so you're seeing stuff that just doesn't make any sense at all. You're also seeing people putting pressure on him in different ways because they just don't know what he's going to do. And they're trying to stop him from doing things like attacking Iran or attacking Greenland. And so that's another thing is I'm trying to make some sense out of this for you. Recognize that we have never in our history had a president who was mentally, many forks shy of a picnic. And that's what we got going on here. So those two things are really important in the background. But there's also another thing. I'm sorry, boy, when I went into American history, I did not think I was ever going to be literally the material that I'm going to talk about tonight would be an entire administration in any other presidency. And we're doing it all in this one day. And it's every day like this. There's a reason you're exhausted. And partly that's by design to make us exhausted. Anyway, the other thing to remember here is that Trump is badly underwater in every poll. And he's badly underwater even in what are his signature issues. So the economy, for example, lots of people voted for Trump because they wanted the economy to get better. after the pandemic. And in fact, he has really thrown a spanner into the works of the economy. Inflation, we know from material that came out in the last day or so, inflation continues higher than it should be. It's about 2.7. Usually the Fed likes it around 2. It's higher than it was under Biden in the last several months of his administration when he was bringing inflation down. It's going back up again. And we also have the problem that real wages have not kept up with it. Under the Biden administration, real wages actually increased faster than inflation. That is no longer happening. And hiring is also down significantly. So the economy is a hurting thing. But also we have the issue of immigration and ICE's enforcement of the immigration rules. Now, there's a bunch of things that are causing problems right now for the administration. One of them is that a new report today out from Wired, which is a really interesting magazine, by the way.
The Republicans in the House and the Senate don't know what the hell this president is going to do. They just been reacting. Okay? They just been reacting to what he's going to do, when he's going to do, after the fact. We cannot have a president that acts first and then asks questions after. No country can function like that. Like she said, the reason why you're nervous, the reason why it's chaotic every day is because the president is chaotic. The president is chaotic. And when he's chaotic, that means the whole country is that way. And that's why I kept telling everybody. I said, every day I wake up wondering what the fuck this president is going to do. What the hell this president is going to say, and what kind of war are we going to be into? People keep saying Biden had a mental issue. Biden's issue was old age. That was Biden's issue. Donald Trump is mentally unhinged. Two totally different things. That's the difference between Biden and Trump. Biden was old. Trump is doing this because he's unhinged. Okay? And he's always been that way. He just has been able to check it to make it go his way. But now he's off the rails, and old age and being unhinged, both, and a narcissistic individual. This is what we got right now.
Okay. As is 404 Media, both organizations that look primarily at technology. Anyway, Wired today came out with a study about the ways in which the U.S. intelligence community has been looking at Tren de Aragua, which is the Venezuelan gang that Trump insists has invaded the United States. And what they found was that looking through hundreds of pages of reports from U.S. intelligence in 2025, that in fact, U.S. intelligence is not even sure that gang is operating in the U.S. While there are members of that or former members of that gang operating in the U.S. and committing low-level crime, they are not at all sure that in fact there is any kind of an organized attempt to make Tren de Aragua a thing in the United States. So that whole justification for this really violent crackdown, remember the Black Hawk helicopter where the people rappelled into an apartment building in Chicago, now looks at, and said we had to because this place is full of Tren de Aragua. Well, maybe not, so they have that.
Because the whole crew lies about everything. It's a propaganda. You're right, Steve. It's a propaganda machine. This presidency, these people in this administration says something, and then they want everybody to believe what they're saying when it's a lie. They lied about blowing up the boats. They lied. Oh, they're bringing fentanyl in here. They weren't bringing anything in here. Those were probably ordinary, everyday fishermen. Maybe some nefarious individual activity was going on, but not to the extent that they lied to the American public about it. No, let's tell the American public that these people had drugs on the boat, so they and they were going to bring drugs to the United States, so it would be okay for us to blow these boats up. But what we really wanted to do was go over there and get some oil. This presidency, this administration lies to the American public so the American public can believe the bullshit that they freaking put out. This is wild. So we already know that when we talk to people, we already know that the regular ordinary people who don't pay attention, who just be listening to stuff on the internet, they don't know that this administration lies for a living. We know that they exaggerate everything. Everything. Some things are a lie. Most things are a lie.
Hanging out there now. But the real thing hanging over the administration is that the American people did not like the roundups of undocumented immigrants and sometimes legal immigrants and sometimes U.S. citizens anyway. They thought that this was way more than they bargained for when Trump ran for office in 2024. He said he was going to go after the worst of the worst. Remember, the criminals, the rapists, the murderers, and so on. Instead, what we're seeing is what one always sees, as I've said before, when you have roundups like this, officials always go after the low-hanging fruit. They always go after the women and the children, the vulnerable populations, because they're easy. And this is written in neon all over American indigenous history whenever the officials went after a group of indigenous Americans that were hostile, usually young warriors. They didn't go after the young warriors. They went after the elderly and the women and the children because they didn't fight back. Well, you're seeing the same thing now with these sweeps, and Americans didn't like it. And they didn't like it before a week ago Wednesday. But a week ago Wednesday, when...
See, and that's your problem right here. This is the problem right here. What you see is what people voted to see. No, this is not what they voted to see. Not at all. They never voted to see this. They never voted to see a white woman get shot in the face. They never voted to see the ICE throwing people to the ground, arresting American citizens, hurting Americans. We didn't vote for that. And that's where the president fucked up. All I'm saying is that's where the president fucked up at, because nobody voted for that. They thought you were going to go for the criminals, X, Y, and Z. You're not going for the criminals. You're going for the American citizens. And American citizens, white American citizens, black American, they think they're not criminals. So why are you arresting the American people? This is where the president fucked up. And if you look at it really, truly, that's when his numbers started to go down. That's when his numbers started to go for shit. Is when they started arresting people that weren't illegal aliens. That's when, if you look at the trajectory, that's when it really started going downhill for this president.
And the ICE agent, Jonathan Ross, shot and killed Renee Good in Minneapolis, a 37-year-old white mother. Real support, any kind of real support for ICE deployments just plummeted. It just fell off a cliff, to the point right now that only about 20 to 30% of Americans think that ICE is doing a good job, and everybody else doesn't. Those are really bad numbers. I have said to you before that even in the worst of a worst case scenario, a right-wing movement will have between 20 and 30% approval. Even at the very end, even when it's going down, you really never go below 20%. And in this case, they're at that with this, with the ICE deployments. So they have that going on. At the same time, in December, on December 23rd, I believe it was, the Supreme Court said that the administration could not federalize National Guard troops to impose its will in Democratic-dominated cities. That they didn't, it wasn't a final decision, it was a temporary decision, but usually that's a pretty good indication of where the court is going. So now all of a sudden you've got
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Who was that bitch talking? Who was that crazy old lady talking? Like, I want to talk to her. That crazy old lady has no idea what the fuck she was talking about.
What crazy old lady?
Some crazy old bitch was talking. Some old Karen.
This is Karen. This is Heather Cox Richardson. who's talking right now.
Yeah.
She's not live.
Can I talk to that old bitch?
She's not live.
She's talking crazy. Let me talk to that old ass bitch.
She's not live. She has her own channel. You want to go talk to her on her own channel?
I'll talk to her any day of the week. Like I'll like smack
her name is Heather.
Bro, she's old as fuck. Like
her name is Heather.
Fuck.
Hello.
Her old ass bitch. Like
hello. Her name is Heather Cox Richardson. That's all you got to do is type in her name and go over there and leave her a message. She always responds to people.
I'll smack the fuck out of that old ass.
That's the point. If you want to do that, go over to her channel and I'll
smack that old hoe.
I know you will. So I'm saying you can go over and have a conversation with her if you wish to.
Who would you pick in a fight? Who would you pick in a fight? Who would you pick in a fight? Me or her? Me or that old ass bitch?
You obviously. This makes no sense.
Obviously, I'd knock her fucking teeth out of her mouth.
Yeah, but the thing is, she'd beat you in an intellectual debate because she is a historian and
you see this hat? You see this hat, boy?
What is the hat?
I'm Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump.
I think she knows more than you do.
Hell no, she don't.
But I thank you for coming up. Heather Cox Richardson. Keep going.
A president who can't use the federalized National Guard the way that he and the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, have been arguing. You may remember in October, Stephen Miller talked about Trump having plenary power over the military, including the National Guard. And the Supreme Court just said, not so much. The Supreme Court said that you can't, in fact, the president cannot, in fact, use the National Guard instead of the military to enforce laws. And the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 prevents the government from using the military that way.
Yeah, but why does he have 1,500 troops sitting by the ready, waiting to go into Minnesota? See, this is what I think. I think that if he sends those people in, those 1,500 troops, people are going to die. And he knows he don't want that legacy on his hands. He don't want that legacy on his hands because if he gave them full immunity, that means that they go in there and they will shoot to kill. He don't want that on his hands. They don't want that on their hands. That's what I believe. Reason why he ain't sent them in there yet is because of that.
So it looks as if the administration is trying to ratchet up violence in order to give it an excuse to invoke the Insurrection Act. And this, by the way, is something that Stephen Miller has called for a long time. And their seeming understanding is that the Insurrection Act will let them declare martial law. Those actually aren't the same thing. The Insurrection Act would let the military enforce federal law and any state laws that involve constitutional rights. It's not clear that they would be able to enforce state law. Of course, the Trump administration has been interpreting federal law really, really broadly. So I'm not trying to downplay what this means. I'm suggesting this is really a stretch, but it seems clear that's what they're trying to do. And
they're gonna end up if they end up doing that, there's gonna be even more damage, even more violence. This is a complete and utter rejection of Trump and anything that he has to say. It just is a rejection of Trump and everything that he stands for. The American people don't want an authoritarian rule. They do not want military. See, this is what you all, when he said putting military in the cities and in the neighborhoods, this is what he meant. You all don't really want that. You don't really want that because people get killed when you do things like this. Okay? People get killed when you bring the military into your neighborhood. This is something you don't want. Okay. And it ain't like black folks are outside. We ain't outside. It's your white folks that's outside. So it's going to be your white folks that's going to get killed. This is wild. So if you advocating for them to come outside and put hands on the white men and women and X, Y, and Z, hey, have at it. Us black folks, we are opting out. We did our part. You all didn't listen. You didn't want to listen. So now you fucked around and found out.
And I'm going to come back to what Governor Tim Walz is doing to try and prevent that. But before I get there, I want to point out something. And that's that when Trump was using the concept of federalizing the National Guard troops and being able to move them state to state, he took on Los Angeles, he took on Portland, Oregon, he took on Chicago. When he took on those big cities, those are big cities, he wasn't very successful. So the next place he really has deployed stuff is on the cities that are the next size down, the next tier down in terms of size. Minneapolis, St. Paul, beautiful cities, by the way, but they're not as big as LA. And the reason I mention this is because there's all kind of rumors out there today and statements out there today that the next thing he's going to do is he's going to go into Lewiston, Maine. Lewiston, Maine has a fairly large Somali population. They've been there a long time. I mean, I don't know anything about citizenship rates here. I know in Minneapolis, the citizenship rates of Somali Americans is about 95%. And I'd be very, very surprised if it isn't the same here. As I say, this is not a new population of Somalis. But the reason I mention that is, have you been to Lewiston, Maine? I've been to Lewiston, Maine quite a lot, actually. And it's small. It's teeny tiny. So why do I mention that? Because I think there's a numbers problem here for the Trump administration. That is, right now, we know there are about 2,000 ICE agents. We also know that Trump has been pulling in Border Patrol agents, and it appears there's been at least one sighting of a different kind of police force, and now I don't remember which one it is. Remember that the Department of Homeland Security has a lot of different kinds of law enforcement within it, and so to some degree does the Department of Justice. The Federal Bureau of Investigation sits under the Department of Justice, and it certainly has agents who are supposed to be doing sort of white-collar crime, corruption, and so on, that they have removed and put onto immigration enforcement. But there's just not a lot of people there yet. They're trying to hire a lot of people, but as you know, that's not going brilliantly either. They've had to get rid of age caps because they're not coming up with as many people as they need. The reason I mention this is because as you are looking at your television screen and you're seeing these truly horrific pieces out of Minneapolis, I'm going to talk more about them in a second. Remember that there are more than 340 million people in this country.
Right.
And if you watch what the administration is doing, it's having to move these ICE agents around. And again, the minute you decide that you've got to take over Lewiston, Maine, as a show of force, clearly there's an attempt to terrorize the people.
Of course, that has been the whole thought process behind this. Why would I want a person? Why would I want a administration that is willing to terrorize its own people just so you could control your people? This is a pattern that's showing up everywhere it goes. Force creates the resistance. Resistance gets labeled as chaos or terrorist or things like that. Chaos gets used as an excuse for them to commit force against the people. So once you start doing that, you got people in the chat talking about, we want ICE to knock heads. We want ICE to do what they got to do. We want ICE to act a fool. That's the whole point. They want to make fear jump into people's heart about this. Why would I want an administration that wants to put fear in its people? Make its people fearful to speak out. When a president does, you have to be able to speak truth to power when it comes to your administration. I should be able to speak and say, you doing a shitty job. You need to turn it around. We don't like what you're doing. Get the hell on. We as citizens should be able to say that without somebody trying to put their hands on us. But the problem is this president and his administration wants to put their hands on you when you say something you don't like, say something they don't like about their administration. This is the worst administration that we have ever had when it came to relationships with the people. This is the president that has ushered in the division in this country. This president has done it. And only people who want to keep their head in the sand would say there's no problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever. This president has Republicans on the brink of impeaching him. Republicans on the brink of impeaching him. And people will still stand there and try to defend what he's doing. We're not talking about Joe Biden, Anthony. We're talking about Donald Trump.
Not just, by the way, the Somali Americans, but also white Americans. I mean, at this point, it's pretty clear they're trying to terrorize white Americans as well as immigrants.
Yep.
I'm not saying that this won't be horrific if they do it, but come on. I mean, if you could go into New York City or Lewiston, Maine in order to enforce your...
Most Americans would take Joe Biden back in a damn heartbeat compared to what this president has put America through. Some of y'all just like chaos. Some of y'all just like this kind of bullshit. Most of us don't like this kind of bullshit. Most of us don't like waking up trying to figure out whether we invaded Greenland or whether we invaded Venezuela or whether we invaded Mexico or Cuba. Some of us don't like that shit every day. It's something new every day. It's never anything that's no problem. The press conference today is a classic example of the bullshit that we're talking about. This is the shittiest president ever, just bar none.
Well, what does that say to you, right? So I wanted to have that piece there, but I also want to back up a little bit. Tim Walz, governor of Minneapolis, has been begging people in Minneapolis not to give the administration an excuse. And I'm seeing a lot of people saying, why doesn't he call it the National Guard? Why doesn't he get in there with them? Well, remember that governors are responsible for the people in their states. And in my experience,
see, that's where you dumb, Stardust girl. This woman on the screen can run circles around any of y'all. She knows everything there is to know about this freaking Republican administration, Congress, voting, impeachment. She knows all of that shit. Back and forth. Back and forth. So when you say, I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm saying the same thing she's saying. You need to listen to other people besides your freaking Fox News. This lady knows more than any of y'all in the chat. She probably forgot anything that you remember. Y'all wild. And probably half of y'all ain't even looked her up. This is a smart lady, a Republican lady, I'm assuming, who know when she say that Donald Trump shit the bed, she means Donald Trump shit the bed. Don't sit there and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm rolling with this lady right here. Fuck y'all. I'm rolling with her because she done known the history. She done seen the history. She done known everything. And if she tells you that Donald Trump is bad for the country, then she knows what the fuck she's talking about. All the rest of y'all just in your feelings. Stardust girl, you definitely in your feelings. You need to grow up.
Experience, which is not nothing at this point. They care deeply about the people in their states. I don't spend a lot of time with radical right governors, but certainly even the moderate Republican governors that have come across my path, and certainly the Democratic governors, they care deeply about the people in their states. I mean, deeply, literally. I mean, I guess it's okay if I say this because he's not in office any longer. But my only contact at that point, I did later campaign for him, with Sherrod Brown, was I had once referred in one of these nightly letters I write to the Rust Belt, which is what historians have called Ohio as being in the Rust Belt. And I woke up the next morning to a text on my phone. I have no idea how I got my number, saying, please don't refer to my state as part of the Rust Belt. We are the Opportunity Belt and my people. And it was just this whole thing. And I thought, man, this is a guy who cares a lot about the people in his state. If he went to the trouble of finding out where I was and saying, please don't do this again. And do you know what? I never did do it again. That was pretty typical of the governors. They care a lot about the people in their states. It's a reason they're governors, you know? And Tim Walz, if he calls out the National Guard in Minnesota, the feds are going to be violent toward them. People are going to get hurt. And he doesn't want to do that. I mean, I assume, I don't have any contact with him at all, but he doesn't want to put Minnesotans in that position. Because if things start to happen, people from Minnesota are going to get hurt. So when people are all over him going, why are you being such a wimp? I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I think he's actually sort of saying, I'm trying to keep the people that I protect from getting hurt. Right. And I think you're going to see that a lot from the governors. There are a lot of places where state governors have backed off if their people looked like they were getting hurt. And to some degree, Trump is trying to weaponize that.
Yeah, because I'm sure that Walz would have called in his people if that were the case. But then we have two fractions fighting in Minnesota, and he definitely don't want to see that happen. You'd have his Tim Walz state police or whoever he would call in, and then Trump would call in somebody even bigger because he got to show his dick every time. So then we'd have a war, and then you'd have that civil war people are talking about, and then we really wouldn't want that civil war. Nobody wants that civil war. Nobody, people just want to get rid of this president. You just want to get rid of this president. That's all. Because this president is useless for us. He's useless for us. He is mentally unhinged, not having a mental 80-year-old unhinged, but that is a part of it. And he's unhinged. We just want to get rid of the president because he's not doing anything for the country, and he's taking the country over a cliff in a direction that nobody said they wanted to go for. It's a reason why there's only a 30% approval rating for Donald Trump. It's because 32% are the maggots. They're the only ones that approve of him. Everybody else that's not a maggot, they don't approve of him. So therefore, we're trying to figure out a way, or they're trying to figure a way to get rid of this president. And I keep saying to people, I want him to invade Greenland. I want him to go get Greenland. Because the Republicans said if he tries to get Greenland, then they gonna impeach him. Your mother, crunchy joints. Your mother, crunchy joints.
By saying, okay, I'm going to come after you, and you're going to back down because otherwise I'll hurt your state. And that actually has been a piece of leverage that has worked pretty well on occasion. So I think that's what is happening in Minnesota. But the other piece of that, of course, is that the images that we are seeing coming out of Minnesota look a great deal like the images from the civil rights movement. I mean, literally last night, yet another person got shot, apparently in the leg. And I'm not going to try and tell you what happened there because
you came up here on this panel. What's happening, Black America?
Good evening. I see you on one of your tears with your educated people doing the videos. You all right today?
Yeah,
I'm fine. These goddamn people.
I'm fine. I'm giving y'all the white lady version that says Donald Trump is unhinged. Y'all don't believe me, so I'm giving you the white girl version. This is the real white girl version.
I do have a question. What has he done like we don't like him. I get it. You don't like him. Not too many people like him. Underwater.
Wait a minute, hold on. You about to ask me why they don't like? Why do you think we don't like him? Huh? That's a better question. Why do you think we don't like him?
He's a liar. Can you hear me?
Wait a minute, hold on. You said, wait a minute, you fading in and out. You fading in and out.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you, but you were fading in and out.
Oh, okay. Well, he's a liar, right? I don't like the fact that he.
Wait a minute, how is he a liar? Wait a minute, I got a question. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me stop you. Why? How do you know he's a liar? How do you know he's a liar?
Well, I won't say a liar. Everything he does, he puts. If it's a 2, he puts a 10 on top of it. Oh, we had the best economy. The economy is not the best. Nobody has got a raise or anything like that. But yes, nobody is also living in squalor. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So why is it that? But why is that okay? Why is it okay to put a 10 on? That it's not okay to put a 10 on it. On everything, no, not just one thing. Everything.
I didn't say it was okay. I didn't say it was okay, but that's just what he does. It's the art of the deal, HQ. It's why everybody in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s liked him, because he had gold toilets and because he was over the top. That's why people liked him. You're fired. I didn't even know he had a TV show until he became president. But somebody was saying he was firing people on a TV show. People like him because he's over the top. It's that's what it is.
And we have been saying that most people don't like that.
No, and so what I want you to know is, HQ, and this is going to sound bad, us as men, we love it. We watch wrestling. You know why? Because it's over the top. We know it's fake. Wrestling, okay, for anybody that don't know, wrestling is fake as hell. But we love it. And we've been watching WWE and NWO and Lino Lutre and all of these different wrestling.
So, I'm trying to get specific fact. I'm trying to get a specific fact. You said You said that we don't like Donald Trump. See if you can give me 5 reasons why we don't like Donald Trump. There's many, many reasons, but can you give us 5? The one was because he lies a lot. What's the other 4?
Okay. So
why we don't like him. Why do you think I don't like him? Let's put it that way.
Okay. So why the Democrats don't like him? Because he's boastful. He does what he wants to do. He tells terrible truths, right? Like I said, he's they think that he's overruling on his powers, right? But we have checks and balances, but they want you as a president to run to them for everything. So the Democrats feel like he's overstepped the boundaries. What else? Democrats, they just don't like him. They just don't like him. I don't know. You don't like the fact that he try to take away health care. They don't like the fact that he's taking away the subsidies for all of these little farming communities and things of that nature. You guys have reasons why you don't like them. Oh, the food stamps, trying to make people get off of the food stamps. You guys have a lot of different reasons why you don't like him.
The main reasons why they don't like him is because he violates the Constitution. Always. He doesn't work for the American people. He works only to benefit himself. He's a terrible human being in every way, shape, or form. He has never.
He's a terrible human being. He doesn't have any morals. He doesn't have any morals, right? You know, he cheated on his first wife with his second wife.
Everybody can see. Right. Oh no, I'm sorry, not everybody. I'm saying most people can see that he's a petty human being because he goes after everybody that doesn't do what he wants them to do, and he lies about everything. Why isn't that enough for you all to look at him and say, this person is not worthy of being a president? Why is it? I just explained. I gave you 4. He lies about everything. You even said that. He's a petty person. He goes after all of the people who he thinks slighted him. He always reading off his accomplishments like they're accomplishments when they're not. He doesn't work for the American people because he doesn't ever do anything for the American people. He only does things for himself. Everything he has done has been to enrich himself, and he violates the Constitution every time he tries to make a law. Why do you think he has used executive decisions, executive orders to do all of these things? Because he knows the American people will not let him do those things through Congress. That's why.
I understand. Right.
So when people say, why y'all don't like Donald Trump, is because he's never been about the American people ever from day one. And we knew that in his first term. When he got elected the first time, he had experienced people who knew how to go to him and say, no, you can't do that, Donald Trump. No, you can't do that. And every one of the people that went to him and said, no, you can't do that, he fired. Every person that was not loyal to his goofy fucking logic, his goofy fucking agenda, he fired.
I understand, but this is
so we knew from the beginning that this is where we were going to end up. We knew that. People who didn't vote for him knew that. He had a whole fresh batch of victims.
Right, because he didn't align with your values, right?
No, those are not my values. These are not my values. No, this has nothing to do with my values.
These are the things that you wanted. I mean, the things that you like and that you wanted.
What I just said, you
wasn't going to do it, right?
Wait a minute. You didn't listen to what I said is the reason why people don't like him. He violates the Constitution. That has nothing to do with my moral values.
But if he violates the Constitution,
that has nothing to do with my moral values.
There's checks and balances that snaps him back. He can't step too far over the line because in this country we have checks and balances. Because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not lawful.
Why are we in this position every 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks? Why are we in this position? That we have to look at the Constitution and say, is this man violating the Constitution? Why are we in? Why doesn't this president know that he's not supposed to run up against the Constitution? Why is that?
Who's doing it?
Huh?
What is he in court right now?
Here's the question.
For violating the Constitution?
Why didn't he know that he's not supposed to do tariffs? Why is it that he knows he's not supposed to do tariffs? Why is it that he didn't know that he's not the person that's supposed to do tariffs? Why is it that he doesn't know that he can't just order people not to pay contractors, not to pay people that they have already designated money for? Why doesn't he know he's not in control of money?
He's a shitty businessman. He's a shitty human being. He's a shitty human being. Every person that's ever worked for him. Like he has a bunch of lawsuits against him for people that he didn't pay while that worked for him. But can I ask this one question, HQ? Just let me ask this question.
Go ahead.
As an American, both me and you, we're both American.
Mm-hmm.
What has he done to fundamentally change our lives, good or bad? What has changed since he become in our life, going to work, going to school, what has fundamentally changed in our lives that this man has caused?
And I'm glad you asked that. You need to ask yourself that question. Isn't a president supposed to do something to improve the conditions of the people in his country? You ran as a person that was going to fundamentally make your life better. You ran on that. He ran on that. What has he done? He hasn't done anything to make our life better. That's the problem. He's only run to bring chaos and confusion to the scenario.
And so that's my question. So he hasn't done anything to make our lives better or worse. Neither did Biden, neither did Obama. None of them makes our lives better or worse.
Yes, they
that's
do. They do.
What did Biden do to make our lives better?
Who do you think put in all the social safety nets to help people? Who do you think put in all the things for veterans? Who do you think put in all the things for?
I think social safety nets are bad.
But that's not.
I think social safety nets are bad.
Most of us don't think they're bad, so you're outnumbered there.
That's not true.
And you're outnumbered there because most people think we're supposed to have social safety nets. The whole point is those are the things that Democrats put into place. What has the Republicans put in place that helped Americans overall? What did they put into place?
I couldn't tell you one thing that the Republicans have done for Americans, but that's me. I could not tell you one good thing that they have done for us as people. But I also know that it's just the law of the land. They haven't done anything to actually hurt me either. They've never done anything to hurt me, but they've never done anything good for me.
So you think taking health care away from people doesn't affect you? So you think taking away the history of America, specifically African Americans and Mexicans, taking those out of all the school books, taking those out of the museums, taking those off the shelves of stores, of companies, of corporate, you think that didn't affect you in any way?
No, it does not affect me in any way.
It doesn't affect your children in any way?
It doesn't affect my children anyway, and I'm going to explain.
You might as well come out and say it. I'm convinced. You might as well come out and say it that you're a MAGA. You might as well come out and say that you're a MAGA.
Come on.
The fundamental difference between a regular person and a MAGA is that MAGA don't care about nobody but how anything affects them. And
I care about my family.
That's my whole point.
I care about my family.
And that's the difference between a Republican and a Democrat. The Democrats care about the collective for all. The Republicans only care about how it affects them. Wait a minute, hold on. Let that breathe. Let that breathe for you. That's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. When we decide to do things, we think of the good of the whole group. You all, as Republicans, only think about what affects you. It never occurs to you. It never occurs to y'all that it's supposed to, when we live in a collective government, that what happens and the government puts things in place, it's supposed to be for the collective, not just you. That's the problem. That's the fundamental difference. Every Democrat in this chat will tell you that's the difference between us and the Republicans. We care about the collective.
Okay, so what did Obama do for black?
You will never get a Democrat to
say. What did Biden do for black people? What did Bill Clinton do for black people? What did George W. Bush do for black people? What about George H.W. Bush? Ronald Reagan is trickle down theory.
Hold on.
Huh?
Here's the thing. They didn't do things specifically for black people. They did things for the collective. They didn't do things for the black people. They did things for the collective. And
okay,
when it's a collective, we all benefit.
So that's not a problem with you. Whatever. That's not a problem with you,
because that's the Democratic platform. We care about the collective. We care about if we got 10 things on the list that we do as Democrats, and we only benefit from 2 of those things, and other people benefit from them other 8 things. We don't go say, "Oh shit, I ain't finna vote for you. You ain't doing all of that for me. You doing it for them over there. So I ain't finna vote for y'all." That's the way y'all think.
So it's a selective. It's a selective collective, is what you're saying. Because they do things for select people.
We do things for everyone.
Once again,
we want health care for everyone. We want social safety net for everyone. We want you to go to school, even though you wouldn't want me to go to school. We want you to go to school, even though you would turn around and say,
I told you if you're smart and you have the grade point average, yes, send you to school. But if you're an idiot, no, you don't get to go to school for free for being an idiot. That just doesn't make sense, because it'll be a waste of resources to send somebody to school.
Why would you worry about that? Every person who wants to go to school,
because we all have to pay for it. What do you mean?
What? Because that means later on in life, maybe your daughter will benefit from that. Maybe if she's a moron, if my daughter is a moron, she does not need to be in college. That's how I knew you was a MAGA. That's how I knew you was a MAGA. That is the fundamental. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the way you think. I'm just telling you the fundamental difference is Democrats want to help the collective of all of us. Y'all don't want to help the collective of all of us.
No. I'm just saying.
Y'all do things for you. You never do things for everybody else.
Hold on. As a 50-plus-year-old black person in America, I have never seen either side do anything good or bad, either way, for us as black people.
I'm not going to run down the things that Barack Obama or Joe Biden did to help the American people. I'm just not going to run down. But I do know.
You're saying American people. You're not saying black people.
I just said we're not doing an American.
You said American people.
Wait a minute. I said American people didn't. That's the collective.
Yes, I don't care about the American people.
And that's
you are a black woman.
And I just said, that's the difference between me and you. We as Democrats believe in helping everybody, regardless of our color.
But you haven't been helped. You haven't been helped, HQ.
What?
You haven't been helped.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so how have you been helped? And I'm gonna just say this real quick. Hold on, HQ. Hold on, because I'm gonna go through a dead zone, but I am gonna be listening because I'm gonna go through a mountain right now. But I want to know how you have been helped.
I can't explain it to you. I explained it to you once. You don't get what I'm saying.
Right, HQ.
But you're not getting what I'm saying to you. I said
I am getting what you're saying. You're saying we should help everybody. You're saying we should help everybody. And
you should help everybody.
And what I'm telling you is, I have my little sister has been on welfare for 30 years. When does it fucking stop?
I don't know. I told you that's the difference between you and I. That's the difference between Republicans and Democrats. That's it. I can explain it. It's just that you ain't gonna take in what I'm saying. Hello, Osmos. Give me your 5-minute take, cause give me your 5-minute take, cause I got to get back to my program. Give me your 5-minute take. What's going on?
Go ahead and get back to the program. Hey, what's up? No, I was following Black America there when you was saying like, I want to know
Well,
what these things are. You said help everybody, and I'm like,
mhm.
everybody who? Illegals? You care about like
No,
crashing
no,
the
no, no, no,
taxpayer
no,
dollar? I
that's
was
not what
like,
we're talking about. That's
and
not
you
what we're
said
talking about.
everybody.
No,
No,
you want to bloody the water. I said help
I do
everybody.
not,
Help
and I'm
everybody
saying
means
every.
we're not talking about illegal aliens. That's not what we're talking about. Nobody said
Yeah,
anything about helping illegal aliens. Nobody said nothing about that. I said Democrats want to help the collective of
you,
everybody in this country. The
so you
Republicans
mean
only want to
Americans? You mean
help.
American citizens, correct?
It,
So we can
it
have a
doesn't matter.
line.
It
Oh,
doesn't
now
matter.
it doesn't matter. So wait, if it's not American citizens, how can we help everybody? And working class Americans cannot help everybody. Plus, you can't get help all the time too as a person. So only
Because
help the people.
that's the whole point. The whole point is decisions that I make. When when a Democrat makes the decision to vote, they vote for the good of the collective. They vote for the good of everyone. So the bulk of everyone. So if the bulk of us want X, Y, and Z, then I would vote for the bulk of what we want. You all said you only vote for your stuff. You only concern yourself about what you want. It's never about, okay, I'm a healthy human. No, let me give you a good example. Good example. Healthcare. I'm a relatively healthy person, but I want everybody to have single payer healthcare so everybody gets the healthcare. Regardless of whether I have to pay an extra $2 or $3, I want to make sure everybody gets the health care just in case I get sick and I need the health care. That's voting for somebody who is thinking of the collective, not just me. I'm saying I would vote for somebody. I would vote for single payer health care because it helps everybody, not just me. What you all as Republicans will say, I'm not going to help nobody because I ain't paying for nobody else's insurance. I ain't paying for
Mm,
people to go to the hospital. That's the way
that's hearing.
y'all. That's not
No, you say
the
y'all.
Democrats.
That's a gray area. I don't want to just throw you off, but that's a gray area because every person gives you a different take.
But
Because
why is that
let's
a gray
say
area?
because it's a gray area because it's like okay, when people make certain choices, your situation could be different from mine. If you're 60 and I'm 30, I
And
look at
this is
healthcare
what we're
different.
talking
I look at healthcare differently. Again, I'm understanding of that. I
about.
know that you'll say that.
And I'm
I know
saying to you that most Democrats think like me. Most Republicans think like you. I gotta figure
that.
out how it affects me. I got a gray and black and white area. It don't make sense. That's the kind of reasoning
No,
you all go
it's
through.
it
We don't go through that. We don't go
because
through
because people abuse the system. So there's things that need to be put in place so they don't try
that.
to take
We
advantage of the
understand.
system. So if
We
if I watch
understand.
the so if you have a woman over here talking about abortion is healthcare, she'll get 13 abortions. Maybe this lady just need to be able to control because she need to deal with the consequence of her actions. But if you let that fall in the bubble and people just gonna abuse the system, it's so many things. There's some people that give fake what they call it fake symptoms or they lie to go get prescriptions to sell oxycodone. They go it's plenty of things that people do. So you gotta find the criteria. But you guys just be like, help everybody. Everybody get health care. And that's like that's a burden on people paying for people's health or insurance that I don't want to be paying for that. And this person's getting high and doing dope and finding drugs to get high, stealing out the medicine cap. There's so many things in there. That's why I was like, yeah, why would I want to let my tax money go to something like that? For you, it's different, and I get that. That's why I say it's great, depending who you talk to.
And I just said that's the difference between a Democrat and a Republican.
Yeah, we don't want to write a blank check. No blank checks to healthcare.
So we agree. You all think differently than we do. We think of the collective. Y'all don't. Y'all think
So
individually. For what goes for
you want
y'all. It doesn't matter what the other person may be going through. It don't matter. As long as it don't affect y'all, you don't concern yourself about it. I
it's
just
not
said,
about don't affect. Oh my gosh, that went over your head. It's not about what don't
yeah,
affect.
you
I
either
literally
want
said we don't want to put a blank check to give you to do whatever, and get all these other people who can't wait to be like, gimme, 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 and then they start abusing this shit. That's what I'm saying.
I get it. I get it. I just told you. I know the difference between a Republican and a Democrat. We don't concern ourselves about whether that person is taking drugs over there. You all will go into a room and you see two people going, hold on. You all will go into a room and see 100 people, and there's two people in there stealing food. Y'all will take the food away from the 98 people because you see two people stealing food. The Democrats will walk into a room and there's 100 people and two people are stealing, and we'll say the two that's stealing don't mean nothing. There's still 98 that's going to get fed. That's the difference between a Republican and a Democrat. Y'all will deprive everybody of everything just to get two people.
That's why Minnesota's going through what it's going through.
And that's exactly what you said.
That's why Minnesota going through what it's going through right now, because of shit like that.
Yeah, but that's what y'all.
Oh, they're doing fraud. But look, if only 4 health carriers are doing fraud, that's only we can't give them $9 billion. Everybody need health care. I mean, daycares.
I don't understand how that hits this conversation, but I mean, I don't understand that. So because some people were doing fraud. These small, how many people? Maybe 100 people. Now I heard it was like 150 people. Because 150 people were doing fraud, you cut the rest of the people off. That's what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. There was 150 people that have been arrested, been charged, went to jail. 150 people out of Minnesota. So let's cut all of them off. That's what you Republicans think. That's not what we think. We don't think that. We think just because it's 150 that did something bad, that don't mean cut the rest of them off. See the difference? That's the difference. We're not talking about cutting everybody off. Y'all talking about cutting everybody off because 150 people fucked up.
Yeah, we need to cut everybody off. When you use this word, we cut everybody off, and then we reform. We find a way to filter out. We find a way to filter out and create a better system. And then after that, we start. How is it punishing? We've already lost billions of dollars. We get punished from our taxpayer money has been wasted. People's lives, people work and get taxed. Their time and money.
5 million. We don't.
Holy shit!
5 million.
So you don't.
Hold on. We don't punish the 5 million that live there because 150 fucked up. Y'all want to punish all 5 million. We only want to punish the 150 that fucked up. Y'all want to punish all 5 million.
HQ.
Hold on. You're not listening to what I'm saying. Listen to what I just said. You all want to punish all 100. Y'all want to punish all 5 million because 150 fucked up. We just want to punish 150.
What's this punishment thing you're talking about? I said if you put something on suspension or hold.
You just said it.
What's this punish thing? I said, yeah, the same way you say reform, we need to postpone this, figure out a better system. Now you're saying you
people off. That don't mean cut 5 million people off. That don't mean cut 5 million people off because 150 messed up. Don't cut all of them off because 150 messed up.
There hasn't been a thorough investigation of how far it goes. So you want to keep.
Y'all are behind. This happened a year or two ago. Y'all are behind. The lady who was behind the whole thing already done been sentenced and went to jail. Y'all are behind. That's why this Trump administration blew this shit up, and this shit has already been started. Biden already been on top of punishing these people, been on top of putting these people in jail. Y'all just hearing about it now. This shit been going on for a year and a half. Now let's get rid of all the Somalis. They already done went through the Somalis. They already know who did it.
Oh, so they knew since Biden term and they didn't take action. Oh, okay.
Biden already punished them. They already in jail, dude. It's only the residual ones that have to go to trial. They already done found all the people already under Biden.
You can make that claim now, but I've only seen people get arrested right now.
Have you seen anybody getting arrested? Have you seen anybody getting arrested lately? They would have posted that person all over the damn internet if the person had been arrested this week. It ain't been arrested this week because it happened a year and a half ago. These people are already on trial right now. There might be more people that they got to find because there's a network of them, but the bulk of those people have been arrested and put in jail.
And you can make that claim, but I'm pretty sure this still goes further.
I don't need to make that claim. That's all.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying you can make that claim, but I'm pretty sure it's still going to continue. But besides that, you after the healthcare situation, you wanted Black America to lift. Well, you actually have to lift things for people to actually say whether or not they agree with, because he was being level-headed, but he said that he's independent. So unless you actually say he can give his own description on how he takes it serious or collective or individual or not.
I don't think y'all understand
you say most.
I don't think you understand what I put into place. You mean you all are making excuses for trying to arrest all of the Somali. All the Somalis are bad, according to y'all. According to Republican Party, according to this president. Even though it's not that many people that were involved in actually taking the money and doing it for theft. You stole the money. Johnny stole the money, but Johnny spent the money at my store because and I didn't know Johnny stole the money, but it was spent at my store. Now I'm caught up. That doesn't mean that I'm criminal. It just means that he gave me some money for my stuff in my store. You all don't understand that it's already been ongoing. All of this has been ongoing already under the Biden administration. Arrest. Prison.
Well, look, hold on a second. I think I'm too pro-American because if you seek asylum here and then your people start committing fraud in such a crazy rate and crazy amount, they should take your citizenship away. They should start deporting your ass.
They don't need to seek asylum. They were born here. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Do you know that a good portion of them?
I'm talking about most of those people that live there are American citizens. What are you talking about?
Over 10 years. Yeah, of course their kids are. They're talking about this whole racket.
Ilhan Omar is an American citizen. Those people these people were born here.
The lady that married her brother?
That lady.
So you just say that lady and brush over that. So she married her brother for what?
No, I don't believe she married her brother, but that's y'all's take.
So again, you can pick which one I believe. That's where this always goes sideways.
I don't care whether she married her brother. That's not the point. The point is she was born here, which means you can't throw these people out the country. Y'all keep talking about set them out.
When you start committing these kind of crimes. Yes, you should actually do something so they can understand that this is not some American citizen should tolerate.
Y'all got a whole conversation going. That's wrong. That's not the conversation we were having. We were having a conversation about what the difference between a Democrat and a Republican is. And you guys proved me right both times. Both of y'all proved me right both.
You on TikTok?
I'm not saying anything else. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we as Democrats believe in helping the collective, regardless of whether we benefit or not. It has to benefit y'all in order for y'all to do it.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. He said he gonna work for your own. I work for mine, so it wouldn't make sense. If you saying, if it don't benefit us, so you're saying that you're trying to help the collective, which are Republicans and Democrats too, or when you try to push this narrative, you're trying to say well, if the Republicans themselves, because this is when it comes down to the bipartisan situation, they should be something that you guys agree on a term on. What should that be? What would that be for you guys to be content?
I don't know what we can agree on. There is no argument. We're not arguing about anything, King shit.
Because the money, the money that you would want from both sides to agree on has to be something that makes sense for both to be okay with. Because you're trying to get conservative money and Democratic money, so it's like, oh, we want this. So that means if you have 50% of America are Republican, you got other 50% Democrat, but you want a liberal or Democratic president to come into power to help pass all things you guys want, while also using taxpayer money of the conservatives, which on the stuff that they don't want.
Here's the thing. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. That's the problem right there. You all don't want free health care. You all don't want free schooling. You all don't want lower gas. You all don't want higher minimum wage. You all don't want the vets in the
I want higher minimum wage.
Y'all don't want none of that.
I want higher minimum wage. I believe in a living wage, HQ. See, that's where I am an independent.
My point exactly.
And we diverge.
Have you all looked at what the Democrats stand for? I know for a fact I have put what Democrats stand for on the screen many a time.
Yes, HQ, but that's why I'm an independent, because I have things that I like that the Democrats do, right? So I'm independent. I'm just not.
Yeah, but what does the Republican do? So what does the Republican do that they do for the collective of all of us? What do they do that's the collective of all of us?
Okay, so I know you're gonna hate this because because you're a feminist and you don't really like men or care what men think.
It has to be a collective that the bulk of us would want. What is the bulk of us would want?
Keeping men out of women's sports.
That's not the bulk of
us. The bulk of us.
I know the bulk of us when
that's not the bulk of us.
I promise you. I promise you. It's just you.
Do a survey. The bulk of us won't care.
I got it.
Why don't you ask Grunt?
Hold on.
You always talking about that Grunt. Ask that Grunt, HQ. Come on, sis.
I'm saying you do a survey. Look at any survey that you want to look at, and the bulk of us don't care whether you are gay, trans, or anything else. We don't care because it's not.
That's not what I said. That's that. See, you don't even listen to what I'm saying.
Yes,
big
I
sis.
do listen to what you say. You're concerned about men and men. You're concerned about somebody in sports.
I said keeping men out. I said keeping men out of women's sports. The bulk of us as Americans.
And I said to you, Black America, that's 1% of our population. 1%.
It doesn't matter. The bulk of Americans care about that, HQ. The bulk of Americans
don't care about that. You good?
Why don't you ask Grunt? Why don't you ask Grunt or your AI?
Hold on. That's all you got to do is do a survey. They care that it happens, but they not.
You want me to do a survey?
Hold on. But they're not concerned. They're not willing to change parties because there's men and women's sports. They care about it. I care about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's correct. I don't think that's right for a man to be in women's sport. But I ain't finna change my goddamn party because there's a man in women's sports. Most people are not. In that regard, I'm saying people don't care. In that regard,
and so that's why I'm saying to HQ, for men, it's a sticking point. It is very important.
Give me another one that's collective.
It's very important to men.
Okay.
Give me another one y'all think is a collective. I know that's not one.
I got one. That actually is one, but making weed legal. That's a collective thing we all want. I want that since Trump first term, but I ain't really care about voting back then.
What? Huh?
Making marijuana legal.
Weed is legal.
That's something that everybody wants?
No, it's not.
Yes,
it's not legal everywhere. No. It's not.
It's not legal. It's not legal in mostly red states. But
yeah,
if you If you come to Vegas, baby, HQ, you come to Vegas, I can just get you a $10 pre-roll, big sis, and have you high as a kite in this motherfucker.
Okay, what's another one?
You want another thing that the bulk of Americans care about?
People keep saying the Republicans got the best platform for American people.
We did not say.
Yeah.
Nobody said Republicans had the best anything. I do not like Osmos God. Osmos God seems like a Republican. I will punch him in the face. We don't get along, but as men, we definitely agree on certain things because as men, as a collective, we have a problem with the things that the Democrats are doing, HQ. And that's all I'm saying.
We're not talking about the Democrat. We're talking about
this is true.
We're talking about the Republican platform. You said there were things that we could all agree on. What are some of those things all of us can agree on?
So
less government
that has to do. Yeah.
What do you mean less government?
The red tape.
Hold on. That's a campaign slogan. That's not something that we everybody is going to agree on. Everybody doesn't agree on that. So that's not one.
Yeah, less government is like when IRS is trying to we see even Cash App, every kind of transaction you make, they're trying to control your money and tax on every little thing that you got going on. Government trying to intervene. So that's very annoying. So people can't spend their money or invest how they want to invest because selling real estate, so many different kind of things you try to do. Government's there trying to tax every dollar and try to get you or fine you if you don't do it their way. Sanctions, stuff like that.
So what's another one? I got 3 so far. What's another one?
Everything that has to do with the LGBTQ. And once again, I know you don't like that. So that's why I put it under an umbrella. For the most part, the Republicans are against it. And you could say it's because, like I told you last week, what I say is we are a Christian majority country. So us as straight men, when we see things like that, it's not like we hate them, but it's like we don't want to be bothered with, right? It's not like we're going to chase them around with pitchforks, but keep that shit over there and away from my kids and away from my grandkids. Don't come to the school and read if you're dressed up like a woman and you a 6'5" man. Things like that.
So so far I hear is anything that's related to gay, you Republicans don't like it.
He said he independent.
Why do you keep saying? Why you keep calling me a Republican, sis? Don't do that.
Because you might as well jump on over there because you sound like one.
You know that middle that you was talking about. Hold on. You know that middle that you were talking about on the green line the other day? That's me. Because I don't give a fuck about abortion. If I get the wrong girl pregnant, I want that bitch to have an abortion. Okay? I don't care about abortion.
Have you voted Democrat before?
Yeah.
I voted for Obama.
Yes. Every year I could.
So you mean to tell me that you voted for a Democrat all this time, and then all of a sudden, because there was men in sports and the LGBT they got pushed forward, that took you out of the Democratic square?
Yes.
So he has his boundaries. He has a preference. You don't think he should have that? Then?
I'm a Christian.
I just want to make sure. Is there another? Wait a minute. Hold on. You said this was a collective of what you all think is important to America.
As far as men, like I said,
I want to know what's important. You said there's a big gigantic portion of y'all, I'm assuming independent, I'm assuming Republican, that they will rally behind these things that you told me. Is there any more things that y'all told me?
Yeah,
Yes.
foreign aid. I'm
There
pretty
you
sure
go.
foreign aid is one of them.
You said what?
Or
Foreign
foreign
aid.
aid. Yeah,
Foreign. What about
you know
foreign
what?
aid?
I kind of don't believe in giving money to people in Africa either. So you got me on that one, Osmos God, but I still don't like you. Okay, just to let you know, but you do have me on that one.
What do you mean
Uh,
foreign aid? What do you mean?
Giving money to Africans and Middle East, giving money to people that need it overseas.
We send like maybe $800 billion just all over into different countries and stuff like that, and we don't really get like the reward. Like you could leverage it if you aiding them because they depend on our dollar and stuff like that. But it's really because we want to have our hand in everything. But at a certain point, we need to stop doing that. I think that's just a waste of time. We need to keep that money here in the country and develop us as a people first before we can consider that, or they give us some kind of benefit, access to land and some kind of resources. But if we're not going to do that because we want to keep like a treaty between them, waste the money.
Wait, hold on. So I want to be clear. You all said that you changed your mind from a Democrat to a Republican because the Democratic platform started pushing the men in sports and the LBGT community, right? That's what y'all said.
I'm with that partially, yeah.
I didn't say I changed to the Republicans. I just said that right there is a huge sticking point for me, and I could not vote for a Democrat as long as they're doing it. That's all I'm saying. But I cannot vote Republican either.
So
I never voted Republican.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a new Republican. So a fraction of it for me was what you just said. It was that, and then it was Biden telling me if I don't vote for him, then I am black. And I was like, well, fuck, nigga, I ain't black then. And then another portion of that was when they did the stimulus thing, whatever it is, during the pandemic. I was like, hey, yo, they could have gave black folks reparations, and they didn't do that shit. That's a slap in the face. Y'all do know how to give out the money. But they didn't do that shit. I was like, what the fuck up? Why would I have a vote for the blue people? We ain't gonna get shit. Fuck it. I'm going red.
Okay, so I just want to be clear. Did not vote for a Democrat because of these things right here. Okay. So this is what, and these are things that the collective y'all believe in. As a Republican Independent, y'all believe in it. No men in sports, the weed thing, less government, the LGBTQ push wasn't cool, and foreign aid. Is that everything?
Is it? I don't know. You got to double check with him. I said what I said. I don't know if it correlates.
Black America? Black America.
He driving, I guess.
HQ, I got a call. I'm gonna come right back. I got a phone call.
Okay. So
More,
Democrats have a little bit of take, little bit of more of a take, because I expected you all to have a more general view of what you want, this direction you want this country to go in. I wanted a general view of what y'all wanted this country, a direction y'all wanted this country to go in. And I'm gonna give you how many you give me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you gave me 5.
I don't know what you're counting, because when it comes to him being independent and me just becoming a new Republican, new conservative now, it's sort of like maybe 3 apply for me and then 2 apply for him. So I just want to make sure we understand that.
Do you have more? I'm asking you, do you have more?
No, I didn't have more because we was having a conversation. But yeah, you can use that and give me whatever piece you're gonna respond to it. But if you wanted me to sit down and do this, I'll try. But this is just...
I asked you, what was 5 things that a Republican can do that we can all get behind? I asked you that. So give me your 5 that you think the whole, and I ain't even gonna question you. I'm just going to write them down. You give me 5 things you think the American people can get behind as a Republican.
But HQ, I can't give you that right now because I actually have to sit and think about this. Because as time progresses, like I say, I was originally a Democrat and now I'm conservative. The stuff I didn't care about shit when I was a Democrat when I was younger. Now that I'm getting older, I stick to conservative values and principle. So to think about that, I have to look at the conservative group as a whole and didn't give you them things. But that was just me off the bat telling you how I see things and what I see that I'm not in agreement with or what I would agree with. So telling you 5 right now, I can't think of shit 5.
But I'm saying, as a Republican, you should be able to rattle off the things that you believe in. These are personal. These are your
he's not a real Republican, though, because he's been voting Democrat this whole time. So he's in the middle. He's not partisan. This is his first time voting Republican. He's not a real Republican.
Yeah,
so he's like a baby Republican, HQ. He just
but here's the thing.
It was things to turn him off.
Yeah, but
the Democrats.
The thing is, everybody has their own moral compass. Every human being got their own moral compass. Every human being understands what's important to them, that should be important to them. That's what I'm saying. That never is supposed to change.
That's why I said you don't care about men, because you don't understand.
This is not about men.
This is not about men. You don't understand how much we dislike the alphabet. The alphabet.
Hold on, Black America.
You don't understand how much we don't like it.
This is not about
Black America. Hold on. So wait. HQ, you said it's not about men, but I can agree with him because wait. As a man, the values that you want to have is that you want to take care of your family and your kids. You want to protect your wife and your children from certain stuff that you don't want them exposed to. And that's where I can agree with that point. And if you expose them to something that you know that don't make sense, then that's not, what is it? They're used godly or Christian, like I can, side with that to a certain point.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, wait a minute, you're supposed to give me those 5. You're supposed to give me the 5 things. What were the 5 things?
I gave 3. I know it's foreign aid.
No, wait a minute. I meant to say, this is what I meant to say. I meant to say that what you stand for and what you believe in don't ever change. It should never change. Regardless of the agent, you should know from the beginning. I'm not a person that commits adultery. I'm not a person that believes in murdering people. I believe in helping my fellow man. I believe in paying my taxes and being a good upstanding person. I believe in X, Y, and Z. There's plenty of things on this planet that you should have a firm stand on. You should have, regardless of whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. Everybody is supposed to have a firm stand.
So you're talking about your standards and like your moral code and ethics, right?
Yeah, it's somewhat related to
that. Well, everybody has that, but what I'm saying is black, white, yellow, purple, as men, HQ, our standard is different than women's.
Yes. But why is it that men in sports, that's something that's less than 1% of the population? Why is it that your focus was so far on
it's like a virus.
making sure that men didn't get in sport? Hold on.
I'm gonna explain it to you. In the Olympics.
Hold on. Let me get the question out. Out. Why is it that your focus was so far on LGBT and men in sports that you forgot to think about kids who might need free lunch, or veterans who might need free housing, or no more wars across the country or the world, or people getting free college? So your concern about 1% of the population overrode your concern about free health care and free school lunch and people having a minimum wage, a minimum wage raise and X, Y, and Z. So that gay shit overrid all of these things. That's what y'all saying to me.
For me, yes. Can I tell you why? Because we grew up watching Archie Bunker and the Jeffersons. We can't even turn on a TV show and without seeing somebody of the alphabet community. Okay? We have men that are in women's sports. A man who turned into a woman was in the Olympic boxing. He cracked the lady's skull. Okay? We just had a man who won the world's strongest woman. A man also who wasn't shit in swimming. He became the best woman swimmer. All of these things, HQ, I know you don't think so. They're hurting women. Anything that hurts a woman, I am fucking against it. The Democrats are championing it.
You didn't answer the question.
Are champ. Okay, so right now I'm answering. The Democrats are championing.
What you gave me was reasons why you don't like it.
Okay, so now
you didn't say.
Okay, so the Democrats are championing. The Democrats are championing these.
But we
people.
also,
the Republicans are not. I don't care about anything else.
You don't care about
to me.
We got the wrong conversation going.
To me,
we got the wrong conversation.
They are the destruction. No, to me, they are the destruction of our country. To me, they are.
Hello.
That's just to me. So it might be something different for him. So I don't know what it is.
Gay people, you're saying the gay people are the destruction of this country.
They are the beginning of the end to the country. Yes, ma'am.
Osmos,
that's just to me. That's just to me.
You said that the men in sports and the LGBT turned you away from the Democratic Party. So it didn't concern you at all about getting health care for people, free college, minimum wage being raised. None of that mean nothing because there's gay people in the world and they in sports.
Not gay people in the world, HQ. We don't care about gay people.
I'm talking to Osmos. We understand why you said
okay.
That. I want to understand why Osmos.
I'm going on mute.
Osmos felt that 1% of the population overrode his sense of having all of these other things. Osmos? Shit, he did.
Is he there? He might.
No, he did. He did. So, well, I mean, that's a question for another day.
No, so it's not that I care about gay people in the world, HQ. I don't want you to say, like I say, I got a nephew that's gay, but I'll be damned if he goes and runs track against some females because he's going to hurt them.
But
he's a boy.
It's only 1% of the
population. Okay.
It overrode everything that you.
Okay,
maybe
he's back. No. He's back now. I'm going on mute.
HQ.
Yeah, go ahead.
HQ. I didn't take that stance. So I'm saying, like, my stance is a little bit more extreme. I said I did not take that stance. Mm-hmm. My stance is way more extreme than him, so I wouldn't even put it in this conversation.
I'm sorry. What is
so? I didn't make that a priority. I said that like my stance is more extreme than his, so I wouldn't even entertain the conversation.
The Democratic Party then?
Huh?
Why did you turn away from the Democratic
Because
Party?
I told you that it didn't make any difference or sense to me like that. So they went far left. Like, let's say originally when I was younger, it seemed like they made sense. But again, I grew up in a Democratic neighborhood. It was by associations. So when I realize when I get outside of that, I don't align with that stuff. And I would listen to each side.
So you didn't align with college, free health care, free school lunches. You didn't align with no single payer health care, no minimum wage raising. You didn't align with none of that. You aligned with I don't want to be in the same room with somebody who is trans. That's the only thing you
I'm not
didn't.
again that did wait. You're using two different timelines. I'm trying to give you reference here because you're saying stuff I'm not saying. In my timeline, that did not exist. That wasn't a thing. That was not being promoted back in 2012 when I first was starting to vote for Democrat or Obama, whatever the case may be. That was not a thing back then. I think they had just made it normal for gay people to get married. That wasn't a big deal to me, and I didn't really care about gay people getting married back then. What it's become now is way past the threshold on for me to be
We're
like, oh shit, what the fuck?
What? And we're asking you, what do you mean they have went past what? Went past how?
Trying to make a person agree where a man can be a woman and a man can have kids, a guy can be in a girl's bathroom. But again, that's the extreme stuff and whatever the case may be. But
okay,
you're
so
saying that
when it's 1% of the population, what made that override the fact that we want to raise minimum wage? We want free college for everybody and no more wars. What made that
No. Again, you're talking about something else. I'm not taking this stance. At what point no one introduced to me and showed me that they're trying to offer free college and what is it? What else you said? Free food, healthcare, and all that stuff like that.
Yes.
That has not been promoted to me at no point in time. And no viable solution or system to be able to maintain that. Because the biggest thing what I'm against is when I see that they say conservatives like avoid paying taxes. Democrats like taking taxes from hardworking Americans. So I had to pick a situation to be in. Do I want to be as hard? So yes, I'm serious. So I was about to say earlier. I was trying to interject that, but you guys were talking.
You just made an accusation. How is it?
Okay, let me finish the point. So
you believe in something that we hear a lot of times, and it's
I say, who's gonna fund all of this free stuff? Who's gonna fund this free education, this free healthcare, this free this, free that? And I'm like, ain't no free hand.
That's what I mean.
So again,
what I mean about the collective. We back where we started.
Osmos, let her speak. Wait till she finish speaking, because I can't hear both of you guys.
We back where we started. Democrats believe in helping the collective, and you all don't. Do we back right where we started? we have to.
No, you saying how? I went to other stuff because there's no format or system that makes sense on how you're going to actually try and act this situation. So you say free education. So free education. Let's go down the line. If you say free education, the people right now who already paid for their education, the Democrats and Republicans or whoever independent, they're in student loan debt, and student loan debt doesn't go anywhere. So if you right now eyeballing that for $200,000, you borrowed money and then you need to pay that back, right? So now at what point in time do you start this free education for the people coming after you to not have to pay? Meanwhile, people who already got their education still have to pay. Do we forget that debt? But we need them to pay that debt because they borrowed money from other people who didn't even go to college or go to school. Because again, use taxpayer money to be able to fund this free education. But again, you have to pay this back. So I'm trying to say, how would that work? That was not feasible. Where is this money going to come from? Who's paying this? Then you go to free healthcare. Okay, free healthcare. Why? Because there's private, and then after that, there's public. So I'm like, okay, again, where is it supposed to come from? This free is private because corporations run a certain way. Business structures run off of so many things. People pay insurance. There's all kinds of insurance to cover different kind of things. So I'm like, you got your kids, you got dogs. Some people care about their pets, their dogs. So I'm like, well, all this free stuff, who's paying this? So then I look at why the conservatives move the way they move. They're like, no, I ain't taking my money. I'm getting these tax deductions. I want these tax cuts. I run a business. I run this. I don't need you trying to raise business tax and property tax and all that stuff like that on my ass. I got employees to feed. I employ 50 people. I'm trying to feed them. You trying to stress me, and I'm trying to make a profit too at the same time. So that it makes no sense to me. I'm looking at it from a logical sense. If I'm a hardworking person and I'm trying to start something or create something, and then government gives incentive, you get people working. So if I'm going to create a system, I'm going to work with the government in a sense where, okay, if I get people working for the money, they can tax it, sure, no problem. You get your cut, whatever is the minimum you need, as much as I can get. And I get that sense. I'm not sitting here thinking to myself, well, we need the government to make this free, make that free, and this free. But I'm like, doesn't the government use taxpayers' money to do infrastructure, to do this, to pay firefighters, to pay these people? So again, I'm not understanding how I just have this one. Oh, then we need free this or free that. Then you got crazy people that want to have these sex changes and all this. Well, I'm not paying for a motherfucker want to chop his dick off. What the fuck? Why would it? No, that shit getting out of pocket now. So that's how I get into that side where I'm like, okay, I see why I'm going more to the conservative side. These people making more sense than motherfuckers is crazy. That's the notion which I'm trying to explain to y'all. I get to where I got to.
This is the difference.
I understand. I understand.
This is the difference between. I let you talk because this is the difference between a Democrat and a Republican. I'd rather my tax money go for free health care, for free college or free lunch than I would go over to Israel and pay for Israel's people. Or
I don't support Israel at all.
There are wars that are over across seas, or money that goes out of this country for other things. I'd rather my money go for helping people with health care and getting people free college and people getting free lunch. I'd rather my money go there. You're saying that you'd rather your money go to the billionaire tax cuts. You'd rather have your tax money go to Israel. You'd rather have your money go to
I don't know. No. I do not side with Israel in any capacity, shape, or form.
I'm telling you the difference between the Republicans and the Democrat. We would rather our tax.
I do not support Israel.
But that's where your money is going.
Yeah. I don't think any of us. I don't think any of us support Israel. HQ
and our money went to the tax cuts. I didn't vote for no tax cuts going to the rich. I didn't vote for the tax cuts.
And he said he doesn't want foreign aid, which means any foreign aid going to places like Israel or anywhere else.
Who said that?
I said that I don't want foreign aid going out the country.
Yeah, but
you don't want any foreign aid going out.
You don't mind war? Do you
mind war? Wars have been happening since the beginning of time. People have always been at war, but we're not at war. Nobody's at war right now, are we?
Are you serious?
Are we kicking somebody's ass right now?
We said, but again, okay, excuse me.
We're about to ramp up and go to Iran. Are you serious?
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not going
to ramp up and try to do something with Greenland.
HQ. You do know that I have 16 kids and 4 of them are in the military. If somebody was to do something like that, first of all, my daughter, she is in everything about the military on the intelligence side. She would have let me know. There is nothing going on, HQ, that you have to. And then as a person in America, HQ, you don't have to worry about it because the war is not coming to your doorstep. If they are bombing somebody else,
what do you mean we don't have to worry about it? We still are at war. Wait a minute, hold on. You're getting in the weeds.
Oh, go ahead.
It's difficult to talk to y'all when you get in the weeds. We're talking about our tax money going for wars, our tax money going to Israel, our tax money going over to Argentina, our tax money going for a part of the White House being built up that shouldn't have been torn
indirectly.
down. Our tax money going to things that, instead of the things that it should be going to help the collective. The collective should be helping people get free health care. The collective money should be going to help people kids get free school lunch. The collective money should be here in America first. You're talking about stuff supporting a party, a Republican Party, that doesn't put America first. They put other countries first. They put Israel first. I ain't got health care. These people ain't got health care. Fuck what Israel wants. We went to war. Money went over
Oh
there
my
to have
God,
war.
HQ, you can't even bother putting Israel in this. I don't support Israel, but before Biden left office, he pardoned most of his family and sent billions to Israel.
We're not talking about
You
Biden.
can check that out.
We're
You
not talking
know,
about
but
Biden.
it's not
We're
that.
talking about, we're
Both of
talking
them,
about
both of
Biden
them
right
send
now.
money to Israel. Both of them
We
send
are
money. It don't
talking
matter
about
if it's red. It
Biden.
doesn't
So,
matter if it's red or
all
blue. They
American
both send
presidents,
money.
all
About
American
Biden.
presidents do.
We
All
They've
talking
been
about
sending
American
money
presidents
since.
Biden
send money to
But
Israel.
HQ, you're being disingenuous. They've been doing that since the
No.
'60s.
Stop. We're not talking about Biden. Y'all get into the weeds when we get to talking about stuff. Stop going all the way around. We're talking about the tax of going to Israel. It don't matter who did it. Right now, this president decided that he wasn't going to give people food stamps because he didn't want to give them food stamps, but yet and still he gave $40 billion to goddamn Venezuela, Colombia, wherever the fuck. Priorities of the first go to America first. I'm saying America first, not fucking Colombia, not fucking Israel. It don't matter whether Biden did it or not. Your president is doing it now. We're talking about the president now. I'm saying that's not the priorities of the Democratic Party. That's the priorities of the Republican Party. To put wars, Israel,
Well,
Colombia.
nobody agrees with what he's doing, though, HQ. Nobody
Really?
said
Not
what
everybody
Trump is.
saying he's
No,
the best
nobody
president
said
ever.
what Trump is doing is right.
People said
I have never.
this is the best president
I
ever.
never. Who said that?
According to the chat, this is the best president ever.
Well, because
Yet
most of
we're
them,
not
most of the people you got over here are white. I tell you what, I drive all over the country, HQ. I live in Vegas. I drive all over the country. Why do we have Confederate flags and Trump signs together? Can you answer me that?
I'm not a Republican. I don't know why they would have it together. They think they're more American than liberals.
Why? Exactly. Why do we have Trump flags and Confederate flags together? HQ, I don't like Trump. As a black man who drives all across, this Western Hemisphere, I have.
You just. All I'm saying is you either America first, and the Republicans are not America first. All I'm saying is just because somebody has men in sports on one of their agendas doesn't mean that you change parties or your priority. I'm telling you, my priorities is raising the minimum wage, free school lunch for kids, free college for anybody who wants to go, free health care for anybody who needs medicine. Those are American first policies. And I'm saying I don't want to be involved with it. I don't want to be hold on. I don't want to be involved with a party that wants to have wars, wants to give Colombia $40 billion, wants to give Israel money, and I can't get health care for the people that are here. I can't get the minimum wage raised. That's the priorities I'm talking about. These are things that I stand on. I will die for these kind of principles before I give my money to Israel, Colombia, or have a war. What do you stand for? You don't stand for these things? Then you're not a Democrat. I understand that.
I stand for protecting women. I'm a man. I stand for protecting women. Anything that is going to be harmful or hurtful to a woman, because I am a man, and I will give my life for that. I will give my life for your life.
Well, women,
because I'm a man, then anything that goes against being for women, I'm not good. I'm not good with it. I don't like it. I got daughters, sisters, mothers, aunties, cousins. Anything that is harmful to a woman, I'm not with it. Not at all.
You should be
and that is the bottom line.
Medical. You should be all for everybody being able to access medical, children being able to have free lunch, people minimum wage going up higher, women having safety nets when they on a job. You should be all for those things.
Do you want to know why? You know those things don't matter because my kids were on my medical, so that's medical covered and out of the way, right? Women, you said free lunches. I've been working since I was 8 years old. Okay, and then when I became a teenager, I've been working then since too. I've always taken care of all of my family and kids and things of that nature. People should take care of their own. Now, if you're talking about somebody like my mother, when my father passed away, right now, my father is, even though he's passed away, he's still taking care of my mother because of his retirement. My mother was his job to take care of. It's not my fucking job to take care of somebody else's mama who didn't have a husband. Go ahead. I'm going on mute.
I'm saying we have rounded the corner. We have rounded the corner yet again. I, as a Democrat, believe in helping all Americans, whether they're white, black, or Hispanic, get health care. Raise the minimum wage for them to get it, even though the minimum wage wouldn't affect me at all. I would definitely die to make sure that everybody had health care, die to make sure everybody had free lunch, die to make sure that women could go to college, that women would be safe, make sure that everybody would have, hold on. Make sure that everybody would have their minimum wage raised or have housing for the elderly and the veterans. That's not on the Republican side. None of that stuff is on the Republican side. And no Republican thinks of the collective of everybody having the good. Everybody benefits from these programs. But the Republicans don't have no programs in which everybody benefits. That's why I would never be on the side of a Republican, because you don't have policies that help everybody. And that's why Democrats are over on this side, because these are policies that help everybody and it helps the country move forward. A war doesn't make our country move forward. Us giving Colombia $40 million don't make our country move forward. You telling us that our religion is not as important as yours doesn't make. If we're not a Christian, our religion don't mean jack shit in this country. That don't move the country forward. Calling left people terrorists, calling left people unhinged, calling left people X, Y, and Z doesn't help move our country forward. That's why I could never be a Republican, because you don't want to move the country forward. You just want to paralyze us in a fight, paralyze us on this side of the aisle. You think asking for y'all haven't given me one policy that helps the collective of this country move forward. And I gave you 5 days. I gave you 5 days.
No, what policy? You wanted to ask about stuff that you would like to sort of be done. And I'm like, so is that gonna wait? These things are gonna get the country, not
because you wanted a collective.
No. These things you're saying that's gonna push the country forward. How? Once you guys get what you want, you guys go back to sleep and become stagnant. So when you guys have to work for this free stuff, I'm talking about you.
Your policies as a Republican that moves the country forward. What are y'all policies? You think the policy to put weed on the docket will move our country forward? This is what y'all. And I'm saying,
you want to know how it helps in Vegas? Every school, every elementary school in Las Vegas, they all have Chromebooks. Thanks to we have legalized marijuana here, and the money that they make off of the legalized marijuana HQ, it goes to our schools.
And that's
so every school,
and it works for your state. So if you voted for that, then that was for the collective. That's what I'm talking about. Something that helps the collective. It didn't help you. It helped the school. That's what I'm saying. Free lunch for every kid across this country.
Oh no.
Collective.
Oh no. What you saying?
Where's the money? Where's the money going to come from? What you're not hearing him say is, where is the money going to come from? If we could pay less, we could pay less. We could pay less in taxes if I didn't have to worry about little Johnny because his mom is on drugs. We could all pay less. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I want to pay less. I don't care about little Johnny. Fuck him and his mom.
Yeah, so I'm in agreement with him. It's like when you say free this, like I said earlier, it's like if you got one situation of a system you try to promote, I'm like, how do you afford it? You do the healthcare thing, you do free education, for example. You got some people that are trying to wait. You got some people that try to go to school for 20 years. They'll be like, oh, I'm going back to school. I'm like, so they're milking. They're gonna try to go to school.
Y'all miss it. Y'all missed the whole conversation. Y'all missed the whole conversation. The whole point, the whole conversation was I don't want to pay taxes to go to Venezuela war, to Israel's war, to Iran's war, to pay. I don't want my money to go to those things. I want my taxes to go to free healthcare, free school lunch. This is what I want my money to go to. You all are in the weeds with something I don't understand. I said it at the beginning, did I not? Republicans don't believe in a collective. They believe individual things. The excuse after excuse after excuse after. No, I don't want my money to go for nobody. Even though right now, the medical insurance that they're paying through their job already supplements other people, but they don't want to help pay for single payer. So, and they would be paying less, but they don't want to do that because then it would mean paying for somebody else. That's what I mean by the Republicans don't want to do anything for the collective. They only want to do something individually. That's all. Free handouts. We already given free handouts. Just like we gave $1 billion to Colombia, we gave Israel free handout. We doing free handouts because of wars, all that good stuff. They're already doing free handouts, goofy. We don't want to do free handouts to other people. We want to do free handouts for our people. That's the difference. America first, not somebody else first. I don't understand why this is a hard concept. No, Osmos, we good. We good, Osmos, because I got to finish my presentation because we're going to go round and round and round and y'all are not going to get it. It's okay. It's okay that it's okay that you all want to pay for just yourself. It's okay. I'm saying that's the difference between me and y'all. It's the big difference between me and y'all. Republicans and Democrats. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Let me finish. This is the last video and it's not that long. It's about 15 minutes long. That's all. Before we start this video, I got to be honest about this. This is not a calm video. This is not a careful video. This is not a video where every claim is proven or undocumented. Okay? It is what it is. Her anger doesn't mean something is wrong. It just means that you got to be careful to listen to what she's saying. She's reacting to the Trump administration. Her core argument is America's problems are no longer theoretical. The rest of the world sees us and sees the problems that Donald Trump has put among us. She's also making serious accusations about what's going on. Some of them are documented, some are not. So I want you to listen to her and evaluate what she's saying. So let's listen. It's not that long.
Time to stop caring what MAGA thinks. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Politics with Cheri JACOBUS. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not yet a subscriber, if you like what we do here, and you like the discussions and the content.
She's also a very, very knowledgeable person. She's been a Republican strategist, which means she looks at all the angles. She looks at what's going to work, what isn't, what is, what isn't. She's a Republican. So she knows everything that she's talking about. So let's listen to her.
Comments, please join in. The consequences are now starting to happen directly to Americans. Maybe your MAGA friends who did this to us will start seeing it. A case in point, EU announces full suspension of visa-free travel for U.S. citizens and officials. So there you go. And effective February 1st. And this is in response to Trump's tariffs over Greenland and the dispute. Okay, he is also putting up memes himself. The White House is showing a map where the United States takes over Canada, the Arctic regions, Greenland. They think this is just hilarious. The rest of the world does not. We have been slow on the uptake. I've had people on, ostensibly on our side get so mad at me over the course of the years when I speak out against people who are supposed to be on our side, who are really just opportunists and grifters. Michael Cohen is one of them. Okay. You guys never should have latched on to him. Not you guys, maybe some of you haven't. Once you give these people an audience, that's what they want. There's no reason to ever have trusted him as the person that gets your money, your attention, your loyalty. I don't care if you personally think, oh, well, redemption is good. That doesn't mean you get to be at the top of the heap and have this huge audience and this huge impact and book deals and money and blah, blah, blah. Same with George Conway, by the way. He proved that he's what I've been telling you all along he is, a crass opportunist running for a safe blue seat. Fine if you want to forgive these people. I'm glad they're on our side. But when it crosses over to now they have to be our stars and our leaders, The rest of the world looks at us like we are idiots. And I know sometimes we sit back and we say, well, MAGA did this, Mitch McConnell, the Supreme Court. We did let it happen. I've said before, Lincoln Project guys have the Democratic House majority sitting in their bank accounts. Because everybody, we love their videos. Did you check to see if they were actually spending your money to air the videos on TV in areas where persuadable voters would see them? No. So these guys pocketed by half the money. They got about $100 million. They pocketed about $50 million of it. The average House congressional race as of 2019 cost $2,000 to win. $50 million was the House Democratic majority. In 2020, when they got all this money, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden won. Democrats were supposed to, at that time, were in line to increase their House majority, which would have cushioned them against the expected midterm losses of 2022, where they would have lost seats, but not enough to lose the majority. Instead, they lost, I think, a net 10 in 2020 and then lost the majority. This stuff matters. And I start getting queasy and don't talk about it anymore when I start getting attacked. There is a clique. You see some of them in some of their different groups and they all have each other on. Dave Troy is somebody who has been warning us about what's happening now for years. You occasionally see him pop up on TV. He's the type of person that we're supposed to be locked in on and listening to. And there are others like him. Instead, we demand to be entertained. The rest of the world is now affecting our travel. Maybe that'll affect your MAGA friends. By the way, it's not just politics anymore. If you're not talking about this stuff with your MAGA friends, you may as well just be MAGA. It's not okay. The wolf is at the door. This isn't just politics anymore, especially when your kids start getting sent away to fight and die for Trump and Putin in Greenland and other places.
We got to stop worrying about what you guys think. You got to start worrying about what's going on with the country as a collective. Instead of thinking about what you want and what your family, you have to think about what's good for the country. She's saying stop caring about these goofy people that be on the internet that's telling you things because they want to make money. People people are manufacturing. Trump says manufacturing is coming back to America. No, he ain't. Ain't no manufacturing coming back to America. Ain't none of that coming back. Okay. The consequences of what this president put into place are upon us. We're starting to get travel restrictions, global backlash. Allies are reacting, going other places, doing other things. I don't understand how MAGA doesn't see what the hell is going on and why this president done a shithole job. What's happening in Washington, D.C., now we starting to feel this goofy shit that this president has done. And she's like, it's everybody's fault because nobody is stopping this president. Nobody is stopping this president. And we continue to slide down this same slippery garbage slope. Keep going.
We did this, and we have to find our way out. We have to be more discerning. We have to be braver. We have to be smarter. You know, remember that Trump said about his own daughter, Ivanka, while he was president, in his first administration, and his then chief of staff, former chief of staff, Kelly, had to kind of talk him down from this and said, this is your daughter. Trump is talking about how hot Ivanka was. He talked about her breasts and her butt and what it would be like to, you know, about his daughter. We've heard wild things that could be in the Epstein files and what Putin has on Trump for a very long time. And some of it seemed too far out there. I'm thinking that we really had no idea how bad it is. I think he's violent. I believe that there were deaths involved, snuff films. Even the Sasha, whatever his name is, tapes, some parts of it sound plausible, some don't. But at this point, folks, when we start finding this stuff out, and Trump puts his stuff out there, just seeing what the reaction will be. We have a United States president who is now invading other countries just because he wants to, for him and Putin. And you have MAGA friends who are okay with this, or they don't quite understand it or something, because Trump loves the poorly educated. People don't want to be bothered fighting this. They want to be nice, but that's not the definition of nice. That's the definition of letting somebody else do the dirty work. I'm always willing to do the dirty work. You know, I'm always willing to do the dirty work, as we know. But Michael Cohen, I believe, knows everything that's in the Epstein files. And I think he knows a lot about what's not in the Epstein files. His personal involvement in the activity is immaterial. He's been elevated to this redemption status. I've had people screaming at me because I won't take him seriously or forgive him. It's like, first of all, I know he did some of the stuff against me for which he's never paid a price. And the rest of the world doesn't get to speak for me when he gets away with what he did to me and to other people. But it is that level of stupidity. We have no right to sit here and ask why the Republicans in Congress won't do X, Y, and Z when we on our side embrace a criminal and a liar and somebody who knew about pedophilia and maybe some murders. And I do believe that
she's speaking out. She's telling you that there's something so vile in those Trump and Epstein files. There's something so vile in those files. And what Michael Cohen, who used to be Donald Trump's fixer, understands what's in those files, and he won't be honest about it. He's not going to come out to it because I don't think he will be honest. But I believe there's something so heinous in those files. She's saying she believes there's something so heinous: sexual abuse, Epstein, violence, murder. There ain't no proven fact. Ain't nobody proved it. She's saying it out loud. The whole point is she going there. She believes that there's stuff in them files that is so heinous. Michael Cohen knows exactly what happened. Because in order to protect your client, you need to know how far your client is willing to go. And he knows how far Donald Trump is willing to go. And she believes he knows this.
Michael Cohen knew all about all of that. And we have some opportunists that make some coin off him. And they do a lot of other good things, but this stuff is not okay. When this stuff was happening to me starting 10 years ago, I woke up every day in shock that this could be happening and knowing how wild it was and how out there it was and how people wouldn't believe me. Well, the FBI believed me. You don't just call up the FBI and get an investigation. It is a process.
She's a victim.
But they know that evil people exist. So there was an investigation that got shut down after Trump won. Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? So I have no, stars in my eyes. I'm not confused about who and what these people are. And I know the grifters and the cons and the opportunists when I see them. What we have to understand is this is what they are. We have to be smarter. And people say, well, so-and-so, they've been speaking out against Trump. It's like, first of all, define what speaking out means. People who don't have political experience, who are not former federal prosecutors, never worked on Capitol Hill, never worked on a campaign, or just wealthy, say, mergers and acquisition lawyers from New York. Why are they even in a position to speak out where you'd know who they were, George Conway? Why was he put on TV instead of the people who actually have careers, long careers, steeped in this stuff, who know this stuff, who are experts? Same with Michael Cohen. Really? Well, he has valuable information on Trump. He has some that he released, and the rest of it, he just played you and you ate it up. No, I'm mad at our side for being gullible and then for getting mad at me when I point this stuff out.
Well, there's nothing wrong with pointing this stuff out. The whole point is you'd rather have Michael Cohen as an adversary than an enemy, because I'm pretty sure he did some heinous things back in the day because he was Trump's fixer. And from my understanding, if anybody's seen that one show that was on HBO or Showtime with that one dude who was a fixer, I forgot his damn name. They do heinous things behind the scene. So Michael Cohen is on the good side. We understand. He went to jail. We understand all of that. But nobody really asked him about the Epstein files, I don't think. Not directly, not straight up. Do you know anything about the files? I don't think he's ever come out and said anything about the file. But I'm pretty sure he has said that Donald Trump is in the file. If Michael Cohen says that Donald Trump is in the files, then Donald Trump is in the files. She's just mad that people are not hanging Michael Cohen the way he should be hanged.
And yeah, there have been times when I felt silenced because I didn't have the bravery to keep going, when people were ostracizing me, when I wasn't part of, the clique, the Never Trump clique or whatever it was.
When sound goofy, Ron M9, you sound real goofy.
They weren't, increasing my audience as part, everybody takes care of themselves and each other. Their little, Upper East Side Park Avenue dinner parties, things like that. There are thousands of people who are patriots, who are experts, who are smart, and they just don't have the juice to be regulars on TV. So yeah, I blame TV too. The TV producers and the bookers, they want eyeballs. The person that, you've got 2 million Twitter followers and everybody likes you and you got a hook of some kind. You got a gimmick, a famous last name. You give us some drama and soap opera stuff with your marriage and divorce. And we elevate these people. This is how we got to Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen should have been in prison for a lot of things a long time ago. Then maybe he would have told more of what he knows. And now we know that he knew a lot about what was in the Epstein files. And while he's sitting there getting your eyeballs and money and fame and book deals, we get further and further and further down this hole that we might not be able to get ourselves out of. We could have probably kept Trump from running again. Or we could have stopped him in his tracks. I believe the worst of what we've heard that's in the Epstein files, now that we know a lot about Trump, the way he talked about Ivanka, I do believe, based on that and other things we know about him and the way she is around him, I do believe, this is my opinion. I do believe that he sexually molested her when she was a child.
Whoa! I ain't expect that to come out your mouth. What the hell is going on? Woo. We look, these are unfounded fun. We don't know whether this shit is true or not. We don't believe. We are not saying any of this. We don't believe, or we are not saying that we believe any of this. We just listening to the video. Listen, these are allegations. She making extreme accusations, not proving facts. Jesus. It's important to say that out loud, not to dismiss her, but to keep ourselves well grounded above this. What matters analytically is why she's going there. She believes the system failed to confront danger early, confront Trump early, and get his ass the hell up out of there. Never should we have elected this person. I blame Mitch McConnell. I blame bitch ass McConnell, because McConnell held all of those senators back from impeaching Donald Trump. When they wanted to impeach him, they didn't. And McConnell held them all back from impeaching this piece of shit president. I blame him for all of this. And I hope he fall down a flight of stairs.
I think that Donald Trump is one of the most evil people to rise to power in the history of this planet, of our civilization. I think that we haven't even touched upon it. And Michael Cohen is part and parcel of that. He is evil and has been for decades. People like him seek this sort of thing out. They weren't fooled. He wasn't fooled. He wasn't fooled, people. George Conway wasn't fooled by Trump when he was flying around the plane and trying to become a solicitor general and then try to get the other job. He wasn't fooled. And Trump didn't ruin his marriage. He and Kellyanne did that to themselves. Okay? I feel the same way about Scaramucci. He knew what he was doing. And then he knew when to play the, oh, I saw the light. Now everybody gives him an audience. Don't come back at me with, but we believe in redemption. Redemption does not mean these people now are our spokesmodels on TV and who we listen to. I want to hear from real experts. I don't want to hear from people who just are trying to see what they can get out of us, who found a path to getting some fame. And then they try and see what they can parlay it into. The Michael Cohen thing should be a lesson. I believe that Trump molested children. I believe he molested his own daughter. I believe that Michael Cohen knew about it. And Michael Cohen played you, and it was so easy. They all play you. They all are playing us. And we're paying the price for it right now. Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney knew that they would be targeted and wouldn't be able to keep their congressional seats if they stood up as Republicans against Trump. They did it anyway.
And that's why I say to this day, the Republicans stand for nothing. They stand for nothing. They have no moral fiber. They have no moral, compass. They don't have any of those things. Because if they did, this president would not be getting away with this garbage. That press conference that we saw today should have been the end for this president. It shouldn't even have been nowhere on the spectrum of having this press conference that he had this morning. No backbone, no moral compass whatsoever. Because we could end this right now. The Republicans could end this presidency right now. 5 Republicans who had the courage to stand up could end this shit right now. And the problem is, none of them have a backbone. They never did. They never have any kind of pushback for their Republican president. The president just runs and does what he wants. People were criticizing Biden. They kicked Biden out of the party. The Democrats kicked Biden out of the party. They told Biden that you had to quit. Obama, they was like, you bombing over in Libya. Stop that shit. You got to serve. You got to show your birth certificate. We Democrats will hold our party accountable. We will hold our president accountable. The Republicans don't have no pushback. They have no moral fiber. They have no, that's why they can't run the country, because they don't know how to stand up to their own party. They don't know how to stand up to their own party. When Biden was where he was, people told him to get the hell out the race. Get on out the race. We went to our president and said, get the hell on. Republicans will never do that to their people. They will let them roll off the race. They will let this country go over the cliff before they tell their president that you're a shitty ass president. Get your ass out the way. This is what she's saying. Shitty ass president. The Republican, we can't trust the Republicans. We can't depend on y'all to save us in no way, shape, or form, because y'all don't know how to stand up your own leader. Never would, never could.
They did it anyway. You don't have to trust or agree with their politics before that, but they're in a different category. Once it became clear that Trump was a traitor and a criminal, and they knew the danger of this, they did their job and they were exposing him at great risk to themselves. Very different from the people who knew what Trump was, pretended they didn't, and they go and they get jobs or try and get jobs with him. Come on.
Hell yeah. She's calling out you regular Republicans. She's calling out you Republicans. She's saying you don't have any moral fiber or any moral standing. That's why nobody should put y'all in charge of y'all shouldn't even be dog catchers. You political Republicans shouldn't even be dog catchers, because y'all don't know how to stand up for nothing.
Fine. It takes all of us now. Now our travel is restricted. It just is. And worse is going to happen. And I don't know if that will make a difference with your MAGA friends. And I don't even know if it matters anymore, because I don't think Trump cares what they have to say.
Hell
he
no.
is underwater in the polls significantly, and he doesn't care. The fact that he doesn't care should scare the bejesus out of us.
Hell yeah, but they don't care.
He is going to
they think Trump love him. They think these MAGAs think Trump love him. He don't give a damn about none of y'all. He don't give a damn about America first. He don't give a damn. He has proven that time and time and time again. He don't give a damn about what happens to the Americans. And you will swear to God, you'll have MAGAs come on here. Oh, he loved me. He care about us. He don't give a damn about you MAGAs. Not one damn bit. We could see it. Y'all just couldn't see it. She is a Republican operative, and she's saying he don't give a damn about you. She's a Republican person.
To give himself a fake manufactured, very, very large Republican majority in the midterms. And then nothing and no one can touch him then, or whoever takes over from him when he dies. We don't have the luxury waiting until the midterms. There are a few GOP defections now. We need more. We need them to be solid. We need the senators and the House members who are talking about, going against Trump on Greenland. We need them to start talking the I word, impeachment. And as I've said before, if enough Republican senators, not even enough for conviction, but if enough Republican senators start speaking out and say they'll go for it, that's a big signal to the House that if the House will impeach him, and it will only take a few Republican votes, but I say they have to vote to just make a call for vote on the speaker, on the gavel. Put Hakeem Jeffries in.
Yeah, that's what they've been talking about. Pull a House vote up and get rid of Mike Johnson, because Mike Johnson co-signs everything Trump says. I'm sorry, MAGA. This president is trash, and everybody sees that this president is trash. Everybody sees that this president is trash. And even Republicans are coming out and saying, let's make Hakeem Jeffries the House Speaker, so we can get rid of this president. That's wild for a Republican to be saying. That's way out of pocket for a Republican to be saying, let Hakeem Jeffries become the speaker so that we can get rid of this president. That's wild.
Have a vote on impeachment. Send it to the Senate. Have the Senate vote on conviction. And that seems to be about our only chance to save this country. But that doesn't let...
Wait a minute, but why is she talking about save the country? All of y'all see that the country needs to be saved from this president. All y'all see it. Even you Republicans who don't want to stand up and say nothing. The Republicans said, if Donald Trump tries to go get Greenland, we are going to impeach him. Please try to go get Greenland, Donald Trump. Please, because we're tired of this bullshit. Please try to go get Greenland so we can get rid of this president. Please try. He's underwater with everything. Nobody wants this president, and he's only down to a 33%, 34% approval rating, and all that's MAGA.
Our fellow Americans off the hook for believing every opportunist, liar, snake oil salesman. I don't want to hear about redemption. It doesn't make you a good person because you're going to get, oh, I trust these people. Everybody should have redemption. Just don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Redemption, fine. Get to the back of the line. Go off and pray to your God. Do whatever you need to do. Ask people for forgiveness. But you know what? That's not what these people are doing. It all plays out on TV and book deals and their big podcasts. Ooh, and congressional seats. And again, not running to flip a red seat to blue, running in safe Democratic seats. All of this stuff matters, people. But we have been as stupid as MAGA on our side. We just have been. And we have to be smarter. And it might be too late. It might be too late.
Well, we hope it's not too late, because we got to get rid of this president. We just got to get rid of this president because he's not a good person. He's never been a good president. He wasn't a good president in his first term. He's not a good president now, unfortunately.
We actually are in a situation where every video shows one of Trump ICE agent thugs murdering a woman who's legally protesting, exercising her rights, and she's murdered in cold blood. And he's getting away with it. And you have MAGA friends who know that he murdered her, but because they see the narrative that MAGA's putting out there, that Trump put out there, that Pam Bondi's putting out there, to lie about it. Your MAGA friends know that's a lie, but they're going along with it. This is not just politics anymore. So when they find out that there's certain countries in Europe that they, the EU, they can't visit without a visa, will that matter to them? I mean, what does it take? What does it take? Again, I believe Trump is responsible for the death of the girls and maybe some boys who were sex trafficked as part of the Epstein thing. I don't think he was a mere client. I think he was part of the operation, running this stuff through Mar-a-Lago, through his pageants, through his modeling agencies. And he quickly cut that modeling agency off. He shut that thing down in 2016 when he was running for president. People started asking questions. This is who he is. This is who he is. So we see these things that he's doing and saying and threatening. We hope it's not true. And of course, you have MAGA friends that go, oh, that's just him joking around. It's not. It's not.
Well, they choosing comfort over the truth. And that comfort has consequences. Okay? You can't force people to care. I already tried to do that a little while ago. I said Democrats care about everybody. The Republicans only care about themselves. They only care about what affects them. It's never about what affects us as a collective. They only want what they want. Oh, they don't affect me, so it ain't no big deal. I don't care about it. I don't care about you getting thrown out of the country because it ain't no big deal. Now it's going to start affecting them. Everything's starting affecting them. What's that?
He is invading.
I let people live with me all the time. I rent rooms.
Other countries. I wish that we only got to send MAGA as boots on the ground. Let them fight and die for him and Putin. But it's going to be all of us. We're all going to be affected by this. We're all going to be affected by this. But again, to loop this back around, Michael Cohen knew everything about Epstein. Of course he did. Of course he did. You know, the Epstein townhouse in New York on the Upper East Side, I used to live around the corner from it. New York, Manhattan is actually kind of small. You can walk there from Trump Tower, people. Of course, Michael Cohen knew. And don't forget, too, when Michael Cohen was first nabbed, they had like, what, a couple of dozen devices, BlackBerries, cell phones, all the stuff that he had. And he had his home, he had his office, then he had like a hotel room, too. Come on. There's so much that you forget or you weren't paying attention to at the time. But I'll admit, when I start telling people to be careful about this person or that person, and everybody comes at me, I backed down, and I regret that. I regret that.
That's wild. That was her take. Her take on it was personal. She talked about backing down. She backed down when we started to embrace Michael Cohen. I never embraced Michael Cohen. It is what it is. Okay. Some of her claims are beliefs, some are allegations, that some of it is anger. I get it. But underneath all of that is a history and a warning for all of us. When people are scared, like MAGAs, they cling to the loudest voices. This president is always on TV talking 2-point crazy. That Caroline Levitt talking 2-point crazy. J.D. Vance talking 2-point crazy. People are tired, so we're going to stop. We need somebody to say X, Y, and Z. She's not saying, believe me. I just believe that President Trump is in the Epstein files. He's really in the Epstein files, and we really need to take a look at what the hell is going on with the people that are running our country. Okay? We need somebody to be brave. We have senators, Republican senators. They ain't going to stand for nothing. They never stood for anything. They never going to stand for something. But in order to save this country, like she says, you need at least 5 Republicans, senators, to stand up and say, this president has gone too far. How far is too far? Donald Trump looked Ted Cruz in the face and told him his wife was ugly. How you come back from that? How you over there on your knees for him and he called your wife ugly? How are the Republicans over there on their knees for Donald Trump and he has shown that he don't care about them at all? Not at all. But it is what it is, and this is where we are at. And I just showed you 2 women that are Republicans or independents now, I guess, that are Republicans or independents that understands what is going on with the system, what we need to do to change the system. We need our hands on deck. This is a 3, 4, 5 alarm fire. Okay. And the president has shit the bed, and we need people to help us get out of this situation. Okay. So this is where we at. I just wanted to bring those 2 ladies to you. Yeah, they're elite, they're historians, they're strategists. They understand Republicans. They understand what's going on with the Republican outlook. Y'all supposed to hit the like, share, and subscribe button, please, and thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. We have this kind of content every day. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe so that we can bring you this content. I will be back tomorrow. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm definitely waiting for that doggone Frank Smith testimony, because I'll be there all day, right there listening to Frank's testimony in public. Hopefully, it'll be on a good website where I can react to it and do what I got to do. But please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. I believe Unhoused. That's wild. But anyway, exit button. I keep reading all these things. Y'all talking crazy. I will see you all tomorrow. I'll see you all tomorrow. I appreciate you and Famous. I appreciate y'all. Please come back.